Hey everyone! Per your requests, I'm starting Soul Land 5, The Rebirth of Tang San today. My channel isn't monetized, so if you're able to, please support me on PayPal to help you stay active. Chapters 321 through 340 of the previous episode. Having completed his breakthrough, Tang San leads the Shrek squad, Wu Bingji, Zhu Li, Cheng Zicheng, and Du Bai back to the Great Beast fighting arena, aiming to secure the 10 consecutive group battle victories required to earn noble status. To bolster their chances, he equips the team with upgraded mechanical hidden weapons like sleeve darts and godly Zhuge crossbows, and 3 specialized array discs. In the arena, the Shrek squad faces formidable opposition. In their crucial 4th match, they confront a powerful demon team consisting of 2 earth demon oxen, a red-crowned crane, and 2 blue fosses. Through seamless tactical coordination, utilizing Zhu Li's time manipulation, powerful strikes from Cheng Zicheng and Wu Bingji, and Tang San's devastating blows with the Sky Shatterer hammer, the team secures a resounding victory. After an easier 5th match that garners immense support from human spectators, the squad advances to the highly anticipated 10th and final battle. Their opponents are led by the Lion Tiger Sword Saint, a seemingly invincible warrior possessing both Golden Lion and Golden Tiger bloodlines, boasting a 100-match winning streak. The battle begins intensely as the Sword Saint launches a full-power strike intended to instantly obliterate Tang San, who narrowly evades using his Ghost Shadow perplexing track. Meanwhile, Tang San's teammates employ teleportation array discs to continually harass and drain the stamina of the remaining enemy members. The duel between Tang San and the Sword Saint unfolds like a deadly dance, with Tang San weaving through lethal sword energy to find an opening. Thank you. Now let's get back to the story of Soul Land 5, The Rebirth of Tang San.
The Lion Tiger Sword Saint slashed out with his sword, and Tang San once again retreated like a phantom, weaving through the sword net and drifting to the side. But this time, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint didn't pursue. Instead, he abruptly turned his massive sword and thrust it into the ground in front of him. In an instant, the golden astral energy in the air brightened and blinding golden light erupted, transforming a 30-meter radius around the Lion Tiger Sword Saint into a golden ocean. Aren't you good at dodging? Then I'll give you an area attack and see how you evade this. At the moment when the Lion Tiger Sword Saint thrust his heavy sword into the ground, Tang San also moved. As he landed, he stomped his right foot on the ground and green light burst from his body. The spot where Tang San stomped emitted a deep rumble, causing the Great Beast fighting arena to tremble. This timing coincided perfectly with the eruption of the Lion Tiger Golden Astral, so when the rumble sounded, it was also when the golden light completely enveloped Tang San's figure. This was War Stomp, the bloodline ability of elephant demons. Why had Tang San integrated the elephant demon bloodline imprint? It wasn't because the bloodline itself was particularly high tier, but because it could compensate for his own lack of physical strength. Elephant demons were a rather pure race, and their bloodline power was entirely focused on physical strength. Their only innate ability was War Stomp. They lacked flexibility in pretty much everything else, but when it came to sheer power, they were unparalleled. Such was the result of specialization. The shockwave from the War Stomp, cloaked in the Wind Astral, burst outward in a green hue. The Lion Tiger Golden Astral was indeed formidable, and it produced an incredibly fierce burst of power in that instant, but Tang San's combination of War Stomp and Wind Astral made his own burst of power equally fierce. The shockwave exploded outward, colliding with the Lion Tiger Golden Astral explosion. The two forces largely cancelled each other out. Protected by the Wind Astral and propelled by the force of the War Stomp, Tang San soared into the sky. Breaking through the explosion area of the Lion Tiger Golden Astral, his body shot upward, encased in the greenish-blue light. At that moment, a streak of golden light suddenly slashed out from the exploding Lion Tiger Golden Astral, transforming into a golden arc in the air. It seemed as if it was intent on tearing the sky apart. The instant Tang San flew upward, this golden arc chased after him. Its speed was at least twice that of the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's previous attacks. Thrusting the sword into the ground was not only meant to trigger the Lion Tiger Golden Astral, but also to store power for this slash. The sword planting strike, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint had used this move to slay countless opponents. The wind astral surrounding Tang San was almost instantly shredded by the terrifying sword beam, and it seemed that he would be torn apart in the next moment. But in that instant, his body suddenly became ethereal. Yes, for one brief moment, his body actually turned immaterial. The golden sword beam swept through him and into the air behind him. The terrifying aura of that moment caused the entire audience to fall silent. Tang San's ethereal figure solidified again in the next moment. The wind astral that had been slashed apart reformed, and the next instant it exploded with a bang, propelling him not away from the fight but back into it. He dashed toward the Lion Tiger Sword Saint, whose golden astral had just been extinguished, and swung Sky Shatterer directly at him. A look of shock flashed in the usually resolute eyes of the Lion Tiger Sword Saint. At that moment, he was sure he had struck his opponent. No matter how good Tang San's footwork was, he couldn't evade in midair. How could he avoid the attack, moreover? The sword-planting strike was both incredibly fast and powerful. In the eyes of a normal person, it moved at the speed of light. What kind of ability did the human have that allowed him to evade such an attack? The Lion Tiger Sword Saint needed a moment to recover after consecutively unleashing the Lion Tiger Golden Astral and the sword-planting strike. At this precise moment, Tang San's counterattack came. His timing was impeccable. At that moment, not far away, a thunderous roar echoed. Among the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's unbeatable squad teammates, one had already fallen. After 4 teleportations with the array disc, Dubai finally found an opportunity. This time, he deliberately teleported to the rear of the 4 pursuing opponents, targeting the one trailing behind. Time freeze, golden wing wind-splitting slash, and a charged ice spear. An 8th order opponent had no chance against the combined assault of 3 powerful bloodlines. Moreover, the reason it lagged behind its 3 teammates was that for some reason it couldn't understand, it had actually stumbled. Misfortune had descended. 1 first-tier bloodline, 2 second-tier bloodlines, and a powerful ice element control from the ice nymph transformation. There was no chance for the unbeatable squad to get a lucky strike in, and now they had just lost a member. In the VIP section, a burly demon male stood up, roaring thunderously. Its eyes flickered with uncertainty. The fallen demon was its offspring, and it had paid a high price to allow this offspring to become a noble only for the latter to perish in what should have been a certain victory. At this moment, Tang San's Sky Shatterer had already reached the Lion Tiger Sword Saint. He was just too quick, giving the Sword Saint no time to recover. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint raised his heavy sword to block Sky Shatterer. Tang San and his hammer were knocked back, and the Lion Tiger Sword Saint also took half a step back. Though Tang San was much smaller, the strength of the Elephant Demon bloodline was not to be underestimated. Moreover, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's previous attacks had taken a toll on the latter's energy. Tang San used the rebound force of the strike to flip in midair and swing his hammer once more without landing. Another boom resounded, and the Lion Tiger Sword Saint took another half step back. His palm felt a slight warmth. Tang San used the rebound force to take some distance once more, but the force was weaker this time. He landed, spun around, and swung his hammer for the 3rd time in a horizontal sweep. His shorter stature meant that the hammer was bound to strike the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's chest. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint raised his sword to block and took a deep breath, reigniting the Lion Tiger Golden Astral. This time, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint didn't retreat, and the recoil Tang San felt was even greater. However, Tang San didn't get knocked back either. With his feet firmly on the ground, he spun like a top, viciously swinging Sky Shatterer again. After repeatedly evading his opponent's attacks, Tang San finally found the opportunity to unleash his Disorder Wind-splitting hammer. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint felt a suffocating frustration. He could clearly sense that his opponent's strength was far inferior to his own. However, the series of explosive attacks he had unleashed earlier had drained a significant amount of his bloodline power, and he needed a few seconds to get himself together. Yet, his opponent was not giving him that chance, with attacks coming one after another. The power transmitted through the hammer was considerable and carried a fierce vibration, forcing him to use his full strength to deal with it and leaving him no room to readjust. He was not in his best state, and he was unable to step back and recover. As for counterattacking, that was even more of a tall order given his depleted bloodline power. Thus, he could only defend for now, waiting for Tang San's continuous attacks to cease, and then use the opportunity to recover and regain the initiative. Unfortunately for him, he was unaware of what Disorder Wind-splitting hammer was all about. The essence of Disorder Wind-splitting hammer was leveraging the opponent's power. The user didn't have to stop and regain their balance, but rather relied on the opponent's power to continue moving. This would continue for as long as the user and the hammer could endure the forces involved, and the stronger the recoil of each clash, the stronger the user's hammer strikes became. Moreover, Sky Shatterer was not just any hammer. Its pulverization ability impacted the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's heavy sword every time they clashed, and under the guidance of Tang San's spiritual power, the searing heat of the heavenly fire essence iron bypassed the protection of the Lion Tiger Golden Astral, pouring into the heavy sword as well. Spinning like a top, Tang San unleashed blow after blow, each strike more powerful than the last, his terrifying strength continuously pouring forth. Within mere moments, he had struck the Lion Tiger Sword Saint more than 20 times. the Lion Tiger Sword Saint was forced to retreat step by step, unable to withstand the increasing power of Tang Sen's attacks. Even more terrifying was that he could barely hold onto his own sword. Despite continuously infusing it with bloodline power, the sword grew hotter and hotter, changing from gold to red hot. The intense heat even began to scorch his palms. Why was this happening? He was more powerful than his opponent, yet he was being suppressed without any chance to counterattack. Even a brief moment to calm down and channel his bloodline power would make a difference, but the previously evasive opponent was now attacking ferociously, giving him no opportunity. A scream rang out again as another member of the unbeatable squad fell. Tang Sen's domination over the Lion Tiger Sword Saint undoubtedly boosted his teammates' morale. Wu Bingji fully utilized his control over the ice element, completing a triple accelerated ice spear attack with the strong support of the Chrono Croc transformation. The final acceleration, aided by Gu Lai's abilities, caused the opponent to misjudge, and the icicle pierced directly through the eye into the brain, achieving a headshot. With 4 against 2, the suspense regarding their team's victory was rapidly diminishing. Wu Bingji now deeply understood why Tang Sen had said he would showcase his true strength today. Even his teammates had no idea how Tang Sen achieved it. At this moment, Tang Sen was even suppressing a formidable opponent like the Lion Tiger Sword Saint. Only now did they realize just how powerful Tang Sen had become. To the strong beings in the audience, the match seemed strange. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint was clearly stronger, yet he was also clearly being suppressed. Even god-level powerhouses found this challenging to comprehend. Tang Sen had already used 3 bloodline abilities in this battle, besides the Wind Wolf transformation that everyone could see. He had used the Elephant Demon transformation's War Stomp against the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's own wide area attack, and the Peacock transformation's spatial teleportation to evade the subsequent slash. Under his powerful spiritual control, Tang Sen could disappear and reappear in the same spot. This execution could be described as exquisitely precise even under normal conditions. Moreover, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's slash was potent enough to tear through space. Attempting to phase between dimensions and return to the same place carried the risk of being torn apart by spatial rifts. Even the Peacock Great Demon King would teleport to a distant location in such a situation, but Tang Sen dared to do it. His understanding of space as a former God King gave him an absolute advantage at this moment. Thus, he accomplished something the Peacock Great Demon King wouldn't easily attempt. Who on the scene could tell he used the Peacock Demon Clan's abilities? The Lion Tiger Sword Saint was indeed powerful. Tang Sen was going all out. At this moment, his bloodline power surged within him, and the Disorder Wind-splitting hammer was pushed to its limit, not giving the Lion Tiger Sword Saint any chance to recover. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint realized that if the continuous attacks continued, he would be unable to hold on. He was unable to catch his breath under Tang Sen's relentless assault, and his chest was in pain, indicating internal injuries that were growing more severe by the moment. His heavy sword, now heated to a high temperature, was starting to take damage. This sword was extremely valuable and had excellent conductivity for bloodline power, but it was beginning to falter under the pressure. If it weren't for his strong Lion Tiger Golden Astral, any metal would have already melted under the heat of the heavenly fire essence iron. His heavy sword once again blocked the hammer, but the Lion Tiger Sword Saint didn't fully resist this time. Instead, when Sky Shatterer struck his sword, he allowed the flat of the blade to slam into his chest and send him flying backward. Once he finally took a solid step, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint spat out a mouthful of blood. To his dismay, his heavy sword could no longer withstand the heat and pressure. The upper half of the blade drooped limply. The combination of high temperature and continuous attacks had destroyed the weapon that had served him for so long. However, being knocked back gave him a chance to catch his breath. Spitting out a mouthful of blood looked severe, but it expelled the clotted blood inside him, making him feel much better. Simultaneously, he took a deep breath, intending to adjust the flow of his bloodline power. But he had only half finished this deep breath when a fierce gust of wind was already in front of him. When Tang Sen sent him flying, he understood what the Lion Tiger Sword Saint was trying to do. Using the rebound force, he spun again, and without hesitation, he let go of Sky Shatterer, sending it flying toward the Lion Tiger Sword Saint. This was the 35th hammer strike, and after being boosted 34 times. The force behind this strike was unimaginable. Sky Shatterer caused a sonic boom, instantly catching up to the injured Lion Tiger Sword Saint. Boosted by the Wind Astral, Tang Sen also shot forward like lightning, closely following the hammer. Want to catch your breath? Keep dreaming. As the head of the hammer rapidly enlarged in his view, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint felt a suffocating sense of frustration. He let out a roar and let go of the broken, heavy sword. His Lion Tiger Golden Astral flaring wildly. He punched out with his right fist, golden light bursting forth. This time, he couldn't care about his injuries worsening. He had to prevent Tang Sen from getting close enough to use that hammer technique again. As he punched out with his right fist, his left hand clawed through the air, summoning a massive claw shadow. At this moment, the solid foundation of the Lion Tiger Sword Saint was evident, although he was only half recovered. His Lion Tiger Golden Astral was still overwhelmingly powerful. The massive claw shadow swept down at Tang Sen. Sky Shatterer collided with his right hand and was flung away, but a series of cracking sounds came from his right fist, clearly indicating that the bones of his hand were shattered. Under the violent disorder wind-splitting hammer, the crushing nature of Sky Shatterer, and the scorching heat of the heavenly fire essence iron. The fact that his arm wasn't shattered along with his fist was a testament to his impressive strength. The claw shadow he had summoned was already in front of Tang San. At this moment, like him, Tang San had no weapon in hand. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint was confident that if he could temporarily push this guy back and catch his breath, even if his right hand was temporarily crippled, he could defeat his opponent. His opponent was at the 8th order, and the continuous attacks just now must have consumed a lot of energy. As long as he could get himself together, he was confident he could tear Tang San apart. However, he saw a slightly mocking look in Tang San's eyes. The wind astral gathered behind him, forming a pair of azure wings. As Tang San charged forward, the wind wings flapped behind him. He drew a graceful arc in the air, easily bypassing the tiger claw, just as his speed triggered a sonic boom. He once again reached the Lion Tiger Sword Saint. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint didn't hesitate and kicked out with his right leg, golden flames rising in his eyes. He had no choice but to burn his life force. The moment Tang San got close again, he made a decision. Compared to preserving his health, killing this opponent was the most important, otherwise he might die today. But at that moment, something unexpected happened. A purple-gold color burst from Tang San's eyes. And at the same time, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint felt his body freeze. The next moment, his sea of consciousness felt as if it had been struck by a massive hammer. It violently surged, extinguishing the life force he had just ignited. The Lion Tiger Golden Astral that had been blazing out suddenly went out. Then somehow, Tang San's right hand grabbed his right foot. With immense strength, Tang San swung the Lion Tiger Sword Saint through the air and slammed him into the ground. Another scream echoed in the distance, as if to accompany the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's tragic moment. A member of the unbeatable squad had his shoulder sliced open by the golden wing wind-splitting slash. The battle on that side was already nearing its end. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint's body was solid, but a thought flashed through his mind as he slammed into the ground and left dizzy and disoriented. Impossible. How did he just stop me from burning my life force? There was something suspicious going on with this guy's eyes. And what was that ability that slowed me down? How could he just grab my foot? If Tang San could hear his questions and was willing to explain, he would tell him that it was the purple demon eyes combined with time freeze and controlling crane capturing dragon. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint was indeed powerful, and it was precisely because of his strength that Tang San had to use many techniques. Although he didn't use all his abilities and whatever he did use was carefully concealed, he still had to put in serious effort. To the spectators, it seemed like the Lion Tiger Sword Saint had changed. Once so formidable, he was suddenly suppressed, unable to counterattack. Only the Lion Tiger Sword Saint knew the truth of his suffering. His opponent was simply too strange. He was swung up again like a sack and heavily slammed into the ground. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint felt like he was being shattered into pieces, dizzy and unable to resist. At that moment, a voice suddenly sounded in his mind. "Do you want to become a god?" Boom, he was slammed into the ground again. "I can help you become a god." Boom, this time he was swung and slammed to the left. "Your problem is that the Lion Tiger Beast bloodline isn't truly fused, so you have no hope of becoming a god. You should be able to feel that I've used more than one bloodline power, and I can help you fuse your bloodline powers. I can make you stronger, make you a god." Each time he was slammed heavily onto the ground, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint spat out a mouthful of blood. Every heavy blow caused him unbearable pain, yet that voice echoed clearly in his sea of consciousness. "Submit to me and I will help you." Finally, Tang San stopped. After being continuously slammed into the ground, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint lay there with at least a dozen broken bones. He was on the ground, coughing up large amounts of blood, severely injured. The voice echoed again in his sea of consciousness. "If you want to die, I'll fulfill that wish. If you want to live, just make a sound." The Lion Tiger Sword Saint opened his mouth. Of course, he didn't want to die, despite having 100 victories in the great beast fighting arena. Despite his pursuit of strength and his relentless attacks against any opponent, he still didn't want to die, but he couldn't make a sound. The pain was too intense and his throat felt choked. Tang San looked at him, murmuring regretfully, "You truly are a brave soul ready to face death. Then I'll fulfill your wish." He raised his hand as he spoke, and Sky Shatterer flew into his grasp. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint panicked. "I don't want to die. I never wanted to die." Using all his strength, he finally managed to squeeze out a sound. Tang San's mouth twitched. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint was also stunned. At that moment, he felt like his blood had frozen inside him. In front of tens of thousands of spectators, a Generation Sword Saint, a king of the great beast fighting arena, a mighty demon with the bloodline of 2 golden clans, had actually, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint closed his eyes. His head drooped. And he died. It was just a social death, but he really felt like Tang San felt like he wanted to laugh. A little. Why did he choose not to kill the Lion Tiger Sword Saint? It was because his bloodline had significant research value, and the potential of the Lion Tiger Golden Astral was higher than what he had just seen. If he could make the Lion Tiger Sword Saint submit, Tang San would gain a powerful bloodline that might not be inferior to a first-tier bloodline and could be enhanced to the 9th order. This could replace the elephant demon imprint, which, although useful, was still comparatively weak, or he could even replace the wind tiger transformation imprint, which was becoming increasingly less effective. Especially when facing strong opponents, the wind tiger transformation was just not powerful enough. Tang San had to, moreover. He thought his companion's strength was somewhat lacking for their journey to the ancestral court, so having a mount wouldn't be bad either. As for how to subdue the embarrassed Lion Tiger Sword Saint, judging by his will to survive, it might not be too difficult. While the Lion Tiger Sword Saint was severely injured and rendered unconscious by Tang San, the last member of the unbeatable squad was also killed. The severe injury of the Lion Tiger Sword Saint had shattered its last shred of fighting spirit, and it died in despair. At this moment, the entire Great Beast fighting arena was in chaos, and that chaos spread outside it as well. Yet in contrast with the curses of the spectators inside, a wave of cheers surrounded the arena. Yes, they already knew the final result. They knew it. The Shrek squad had won their 10th match. The deafening cheers were the release of all those feelings hidden deep inside humans' hearts during countless years of oppression as slaves and vassals. On the seats of honor, the faces of the high-ranking members of the demon clans were grim. Even the Etherhorn Deer Demon King, the master of the Great Beast fighting arena, was no exception. In fact, although he didn't want Tang San and his team to die. When a human team truly achieved 10 consecutive victories in group battles and was about to receive a noble title, his heart was filled with complex emotions. This was an unprecedented glory for humans, but for the master of the Great Beast fighting arena, it was a humiliation. The envoy from the ancestral court had already stood up, its face dark as it looked at the Shrek squad members gathering and hugging each other on the battlefield. It could clearly hear the cheers from outside the arena. Although as part of the demon races, it had never believed humans could pose any real threat at this moment, its displeasure was hard to suppress. The envoy turned to the Etherhorn Deer Demon King. "What's the deal with that human?" The Etherhorn Deer Demon King smiled wryly. "I don't know, I didn't expect this either. He wasn't the captain before and he didn't show any exceptional strength, yet you didn't expect this. Such a human shouldn't exist. Slaves can't have spiritual leaders, don't you understand?" the envoy said coldly. The Etherhorn Deer Demon King quickly bowed. "I understand, but the rules of the Great Beast fighting arena can't be arbitrarily broken." The envoy waved its hand, cutting him off. "Then follow the rules of the Great Beast fighting arena. I don't care how you do it. If Kali City can't handle it, send them to the ancestral court. The Great Beast fighting arena of the ancestral court has even richer rewards. Do you understand?" "Yes, I understand." The Etherhorn Deer Demon King immediately grasped the implication, sighing inwardly. The Great Beast fighting arena of the ancestral court, that place. Tang San grabbed one of the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's legs, dragging him out of the Great Beast fighting arena. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint was now his prize. Not killing him in the arena meant that, in a sense. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint was now his slave. This was the right of a free contestant in the Great Beast fighting arena. Generally, this right was rarely exercised because the participants usually had a do-or-die belief and were hard to enslave. This was why Tang San conveyed so many thoughts to the Lion Tiger Sword Saint through his spiritual power while severely injuring him. Otherwise, if he committed suicide after being defeated, all Tang San's effort would have been wasted. The prize for 10 consecutive victories, plus the match earnings, was undoubtedly highly generous. More importantly, from this moment on, they would have noble status and no longer be mere human vassals. While they weren't the only human nobles in this world, they were as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. One, they didn't rush to leave the Great Beast fighting arena. Although Tang San knew that appearing in front of the humans outside the arena now would have a significant unifying effect, he also understood that their 10 consecutive victories today would undoubtedly cause the demons to feel threatened. Under the circumstances, a strong reaction from the vassals might well trigger murderous intent among the demons and result in who knew what kinds of problems. Therefore, they couldn't provoke the demon races at this time. If this weren't Kali City and the city lord wasn't in seclusion, their 10 consecutive victories might have put them at significant risk. Why had Tang San handed over the 3 array discs to the Etherhorn Deer Demon King and created the impression that there was an array master behind them? It was to make it seem like there was more profit to be extracted, making them less likely to be targeted. The bloodthirsty demon ape had been waiting in the corridor. When it saw Tang San dragging the Lion Tiger Sword Saint over, an intense look of fear flashed in its eyes. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint was almost universally recognized as the strongest existence in the entire Kali City Great Beast fighting arena, hailed as the strongest below the god level. However, he had been ultimately beaten by Tang San in a one-on-one situation. What did this mean? It meant that in a one-on-one battle below the god level, Tang San was even stronger. Tang San had been low-key, hiding his strength until this final match where he showcased massive power. How could this not make others wary? Moreover, they couldn't even discern what abilities he had used to defeat the Lion Tiger Sword Saint. Get him some medical attention. "He is my slave now," Tang San said calmly, handing the Lion Tiger Sword Saint to the bloodthirsty demon ape. "All right." The bloodthirsty demon ape quickly took the limp Lion Tiger Sword Saint. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint's body was as hard as steel. Although Tang San had beaten him severely, the injuries weren't too serious. Not many bones were truly broken, and with his strong physical capabilities, he would recover soon with proper treatment. Tang San continued to the bloodthirsty demon ape, "Please arrange for us to meet the arena master." "All right," the bloodthirsty demon ape said. It had already received a message from the Ether-Horned Deer Demon King anyway, and the latter was in fact waiting to meet Tang San and his team. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint was taken for treatment, while Tang San and his team were led by the bloodthirsty demon ape back to the Ether-Horned Deer Demon King's grand and luxurious room. The door opened, and as soon as Tang San and his team stepped inside, they were greeted by applause. The Ether-Horned Deer Demon King smiled and looked at them with admiration. Congratulations on your 10 consecutive victories, the first human team to have 10 consecutive victories in the history of the great beast fighting arena. From this moment on, you are nobles. I have arranged for your noble status registration, which will be completed soon. You will have the right to buy your own land and houses in Kali City and the right to recruit slaves and vassals. Thank you, Arena Master. Tang San nodded slightly. At this moment, Wu Bingji and the other three naturally followed behind him. After today's battle, there was no longer any doubt about who the true captain of the Shrek squad was, and there was no need to hide it anymore. The Ether-Horned Deer Demon King said, "Please, I have prepared a banquet to welcome you." Tang San replied, "Then we shall accept your invitation." The five followed the Ether-Horned Deer Demon King to the banquet hall, where a table full of sumptuous food awaited them. Wu Bingji hesitated and glanced at Tang San. After their victory, hearing the overwhelming cheers, especially those from outside the great beast fighting arena, he felt pride and concern. Their deeds were unprecedented, after all. Who knew what means the demons would stoop down to in order to suppress them? Tang San gave him a reassuring look and led everyone to sit down. He understood that Wu Bingji was worried about the possibility of the Ether-Horned Deer Demon King poisoning the food. However, Wu Bingji didn't know that Tang San was the foremost expert in poison in this world. No poison could be hidden from him. Besides, the Ether-Horned Deer Demon King wouldn't resort to such measures before getting what he wanted. The Ether-Horned Deer Demon King raised his wine cup and said, "Come, let us toast to you becoming members of the nobility in Kali City." Tang San and the others raised their cups and the banquet began. The table was filled with delicacies and Tang San and the others didn't hold back. During the banquet, the Ether-Horned Deer Demon King didn't say much, merely praising their performance today. Most of his attention was on Tang San, and he was subtly probing about the young man's bloodline abilities. Tang San responded ambiguously, mentioning that his bloodline had undergone some mutations and that his spiritual power was exceptional. He only hinted at the abilities he had displayed on the battlefield. They didn't drink much but didn't hold back on the nutritious food. After the meal, the Ether-Horned Deer Demon King led them to the reception hall. Everyone took their seats. "Now that you are nobles, what are your plans for the future?" the Ether-Horned Deer Demon King asked with a smile. Tang San replied, "Not much. Just continue to strive to become stronger." The Ether-Horned Deer Demon King looked at him meaningfully and said, "With your strength, if you continue to improve, you might be on the path to becoming a god. But you should know that reaching the 10th order requires vast resources and sufficient support. It's not easy for humans to get that far." Tang San sighed and said, "Yes, indeed. Do you have any suggestions for us, Your Excellency?" The Ether-Horned Deer Demon King pondered momentarily and said, "There are some suggestions. It is rare for vassals to become nobles, but it's not unheard of. However, even with noble status, it is difficult for non-demons to become gods. It would only be possible if you could rely on the protection of a large family along with a substantial amount of resources." Tang San said, "We do have that idea, but we have no way to enter such a social circle." The Ether-Horned Deer Demon King smiled slightly and said, "My Ether-Horned Deer Demon clan can accommodate you all. But I wonder," Tang San hesitated and said, "Thank you for your kindness, but I'm worried it might bring you unnecessary trouble. We didn't expect so much attention from our kind after our victory today." "Will it?" The Ether-Horned Deer Demon King looked at him with some surprise. "The fact that you can notice this shows I wasn't wrong about you." "Indeed. Your victory today will bring you great trouble. Just now, an envoy from the Ancestral Court expressed clear dissatisfaction. They even suggested taking you to the Ancestral Court's great beast fighting arena with the lure of rich resources. But you must understand that the Ancestral Court's great beast fighting arena differs greatly from ours in Kali City. One misstep and you could die there." He paused for a moment, then said, "In this matter, I'm afraid I can't protect you entirely. But if you're willing to join my Ether-Horned Deer Demon clan as guest members, at least in the Ancestral Court, we can mediate on your behalf." Tang San asked, "Does that mean we won't have to go to the Ancestral Court's great beast fighting arena?" The Ether-Horned Deer Demon King shook his head and said, "That's impossible. Unless the city lord is present, no one can stand against the envoy on your behalf. You will have to go, but if this is handled well, there's a good chance you can return safely." "How can it be handled?" Tang San asked. The Ether-Horned Deer Demon King said, "You need to win at least one match over there, then I'll find a way to ensure that your subsequent opponents only injure you but don't kill you. After that, I'll work things out to make it seem like you're grievously injured. Then we can bring you back and keep a low profile. That should get you through this." Wu Bingji looked at Tang San, his emotions mixed. If it weren't for the current situation, he would have asked Tang San if this guy was being serious. Tang San's answer would be a resounding yes. He looked at the Etherhorn Deer Demon King and said, "Thank you for your care, your excellency, and for being so candid with us. We do indeed want to visit the ancestral court. I also want to find the master who gave us the 3 array discs. If there's a chance, I can introduce him to you." The Etherhorn Deer Demon King's eyes lit up, and there was appreciation in his gaze. Indeed, talking to smart people is easy. But Tang San hesitated. The Etherhorn Deer Demon King asked calmly, "But what?" Tang San lowered his head somewhat shamefully and said, "Could you please introduce us to the City Lord? We have always admired the City Lord deeply." The Etherhorn Deer Demon King's heart stirred, but his expression remained calm as he smiled and said, "It seems you have great ambitions, don't you?" Tang San kept his head down and said, "We've long revered the City Lord." From Mei Gongzi, he had long known that this Etherhorn Deer Demon King was one of the Peacock Great Demon King's allies, a staunch supporter of the same faction and basically Kali City's financial overseer. By pretending that he knew an array master, he ensured that the Etherhorn Deer Demon King had vested interests in them. Then, by expressing a desire to meet the City Lord and indicating a wish to join the City Lord's ranks, he naturally had multiple considerations. Even before coming to the competition, Tang San had already devised this plan. In the future, Mei Gongzi's most crucial task was to take control of Kali City. If he could join the Peacock Demon clan, he would naturally be able to assist Mei Gongzi legitimately by her side. "I've seen your registration information." Called Asura, the Etherhorn Deer Demon King looked at the masked Tang San. Indeed, Tang San used the name Asura when he registered. Yes, Tang San nodded. "The City Lord is currently in seclusion and cannot see you. How about this? After you return successfully from the ancestral court, if the City Lord has emerged from seclusion, I will introduce you then. Have you thought about when you will go to the ancestral court?" Tang San thought for a moment and said, "Within a month. We also need some time to rest." "All right. Once you've decided on your departure time, you can come to see me. I will arrange things for you at the ancestral court in advance. If you have any news about the array master, you can come here anytime to find me." As he spoke, the Etherhorn Deer Demon King took a token and handed it to Tang San. "Take this token, and you will have unhindered access throughout Kali City. Where are you staying?" "The noble registration documents will be sent to you shortly for registration." Tang San said, "We are staying at the hotel next to the Great Beast Fighting Arena." The Etherhorn Deer Demon King said, "Don't stay at the hotel anymore. Stay here until your noble registration is completed and then you can leave. I'll find a place suitable for you all to live in. Thank you very much, Your Excellency." After the conversation, the Etherhorn Deer Demon King personally saw them to the door and gave the bloodthirsty demon ape some instructions. Their accommodations were no longer the same. Each of them was now given a luxurious room. However, the 5 did not separate but gathered in Tang San's room. It wasn't until they returned to the room that Wu Bingji and the others breathed massive sighs of relief. Dubai even collapsed directly onto the sofa. They could finally relax after the intense battle and the nerve-wracking dealings with the Etherhorn Deer Demon King. "Little Tang, you're amazing," Cheng Zicheng said sincerely, her gaze toward him rather different from before. Today, Tang San's battle with the Lion Tiger Sword Saint, from which Tang San had ultimately emerged victorious, left an indelible impression on them. Wu Bingji laughed. "That's beyond amazing. I never thought even the Lion Tiger Sword Saint wouldn't be a match for you." Tang San smiled and said it was just luck. He released his spiritual power as he spoke, setting up a barrier to isolate any potential external surveillance. Wu Bingji asked, "How much do you think we can trust what the arena master said?" Tang San replied, 9 parts true, 1 part false. For him, profit is paramount. If we can make it profitable for him, he will be genuine with us. Otherwise, he could turn on us at any time. Wu Bingji pondered. "So that's why you brought up the array master?" Tang San nodded. "Exactly. Eldest brother, from now on you must avoid revealing your true face as much as possible. From now on we will live our public lives wearing these masks." Wu Bingji nodded. "I understand." Tang San continued, "After obtaining our noble status, the most important thing is stabilizing and enhancing our cultivation. The Great Beast Fighting Arena is unavoidable, and the Etherhorn Deer Demon King's plan seems feasible. We've already made a significant impact in Kali City. While this is great for uniting our people, humans are still too weak. It's not time to show our unity yet. For now, we need to act low-key and wait for opportunities in the future." Wu Bingji sighed. "Hearing their cheers gets my blood pumping, but you are more thorough in your thinking." Tang San said, "We'll get our chance as long as we survive. At least we've proven that humans have the potential to become strong. Every person who saw our matches or heard of our victories will have a seed planted in their hearts. Given time, it will take root and grow." Wu Bingji nodded thoughtfully and replied, "From now on, we'll all follow your lead. Whatever you say, we'll do." Tang San said, "We must go to the ancestral court to seek opportunities. We have plenty of money. And your bloodline issues must be addressed if you want to advance further. The stronger the bloodline, the harder it is to improve if it's not pure enough. We need to find the right essence blood to enhance your bloodline power. That's the main goal for going there. The Great Beast Fighting Arena there will be risky. I can handle 1 Lion Tiger Sword Saint, but I won't be able to do that if we face 5 opponents of that caliber. So you all need to work hard to improve. As for the Etherhorn Deer Demon King, I'll find a way to ensure he has to protect us and give us opportunities." "Yes, we'll all work hard," they responded in unison. The 10 group battles had been a transformative experience for the entire Shrek squad. Facing the genuine pressure of life and death threats, their actual combat experience, coordination, and personal strength had all advanced significantly. This brought Tang San a sense of relief. The potential for growth in his 4 companions was immense, and they could all look forward to a bright future. Everyone was exhausted and returned to their rooms to rest. Tang San walked to the bed as well. This time, from the room he had been assigned, he could see outside the great beast fighting arena. He opened the window and he could faintly hear occasional cheers from the city, clearly human voices. Their victory today had a significant impact on the humans in Kali City. But the ether-horned deer demon king was right. It would attract apprehension precisely because of the impact. For the demons, eliminating potential problems was as simple as killing them. The ancestral court was a place they had to visit. If they didn't go to the ancestral court, all their previous efforts would be in vain. Tang San needed to find opportunities for his companions and himself. His path to godhood was destined to be incredibly challenging. The ancestral court would be his chance to test himself and understand the highest power levels in this world. The ether-horned deer demon king was very efficient. The next day, someone came to handle the registration for their noble status. Both demon and nymph nobles needed to register at the noble court to confirm their identities. Each major city had its own noble court, and Kali City was no exception. The Peacock Demon clan managed this branch, of course. Once their noble status was registered, their residences were arranged. As nobles, they now had the right to own land, and naturally the right to build a residence on it. The ether-horned deer demon king was very generous. As the wealthiest being in all of Kali City and one of the wealthiest merchants even among all demon races, he gave 5 houses to Tang San and his companions in a prosperous area. Each house covered an area of about 300 square meters and had its own courtyard. The 5 houses were next to each other and not too far from the central square of Kali City, on a street on the east side of the city lord's mansion. They had the right to recruit vassals to serve them, and they could also recruit slaves, but slaves were not allowed to enter the city itself and could only work for them outside the city. They didn't see the ether-horned deer demon king again. His subordinates arranged everything properly. By the 3rd day after the competition ended, they had already moved into their houses. The houses were fully furnished. They lacked luxurious decorations, but they were still better than their quarters at Redemption Academy. They were clean and tidy, with plants adorning the courtyards. Each house had 5 rooms, enough to accommodate more than a dozen people. In the following days, Tang San and his companions stayed mostly indoors. On the 10th day after the competition ended, someone Tang San had been waiting for finally arrived. Tang San came out when he heard a knock on the door. These past few days, he had stayed here except for a secret trip back to Redemption Academy to communicate with his master. Their residences were monitored. The ether-horned deer demon king's men subtly expressed that this surveillance was not from the great beast fighting arena, but to ensure their future participation in the ancestral court competition. Opening the courtyard door, he first saw a tall and burly man. His injuries seemed almost healed, but his expression was grim. Behind him stood 4 sturdy demons from the bloodthirsty demon ape clan. Each one exuded a powerful aura. The leading bloodthirsty demon ape was the one who was always present before their battles. Upon seeing Tang San, it immediately smiled and said, "Brother Asura, I've brought you your spoils. How you handle him is up to you. We've sealed his cultivation, so you can do as you please. The arena master asked us to bring him to you. His injuries are mostly healed, but you should still be careful." "Thank you," Tang San said. The bloodthirsty demon ape didn't linger. It waved its hand and left with its subordinates. Tang San glanced at the Lion Tiger Sword Saint and turned to walk inside. "Come in." The Lion Tiger Sword Saint remained silent, quietly following him into the courtyard. "Close the door," Tang San said calmly. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint hesitated momentarily, letting out a dissatisfied grunt, but still closed the door. Tang San led him into the main house, where he sat down in the main seat in the living room and pointed to a chair beside him. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint didn't sit down. He looked at Tang San coldly and said, "Does what you said that day still count?" Tang San calmly retorted, "Do you have the right to negotiate terms with me?" The Lion Tiger Sword Saint's already large eyes widened even more. "What do you mean? You tricked me. What good would it do me to trick you? But you need to understand your current status. Right now, you're nothing but my spoil of war. In other words, you're my slave. Do you not understand what a slave is?" The Lion Tiger Sword Saint let out a roar. Despite his sealed cultivation, he still exuded a ferocious aura. Tang San looked at him and shook his head. Then he slowly stood up and walked over to the Lion Tiger Sword Saint. As he saw Tang San approaching, for some unknown reason, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's previously strong momentum waned, and he subconsciously reined it in a bit. Facing the much taller Lion Tiger Sword Saint, Tang San asked calmly, "What is your goal for cultivation?" The Lion Tiger Sword Saint unhesitantly replied, "Of course, to become powerful. Naturally, to become a demon emperor. That's the ultimate goal of every demon," the Lion Tiger Sword Saint said proudly. Tang San asked, "A Lion Tiger Demon Emperor? Has there ever been one?" The Lion Tiger Sword Saint was at a loss for words. Indeed, there had never been a Lion Tiger Demon Emperor in the history of demons. "You should be well aware of your problems. The bloodlines of the golden lion and the golden tiger make you strong, but the conflict between these two bloodlines also troubles you greatly. You'll never break through to the 10th tier if you can't unite the two. And even being the strongest below the god level is worth exactly 0 if you can't become a god. Not to mention, he paused for a moment, then said mockingly, you're not even the strongest below the god level. The lion-tiger sword saint's breathing became heavy instantly, and he seemed to be on the verge of exploding. But Tang Sen continued leisurely, as if he hadn't noticed, to truly become stronger, you must solve the problem with your bloodline. Sadly, you can't solve it, and neither can the demon emperors. You are not the only one of the lion-tiger lineage. There aren't many, but they exist. You must be considered lucky. Whether it's the first generation born from the lion and tiger clans or the offspring of lion-tiger demons themselves, not many survive, right? Most die young, am I correct? The lion-tiger sword saint trembled, and he blurted out, how do you know this? This was no secret for the lion and tiger clans. But it was not something a human should know. Tang Sen replied calmly, I inferred it from your bloodline. Your lion-tiger golden astral is extremely violent but full of contradictions. The two stimulate each other, and your blood is always boiling during battles. Not just anyone can endure such a domineering bloodline. You are very lucky, born with a strong innate constitution thanks to the golden lion and golden tiger bloodlines. This is why you survived and became powerful, but most lion-tiger demons are not so fortunate. The lion-tiger sword saint shivered slightly as if he was recalling something painful. He subconsciously said, what can be done? This is fate, the fate of our kind. They all say we are an unnatural existence, a race that shouldn't have appeared. It is a curse from the heavens. Tang Sen shook his head and said, this has nothing to do with any curse. It is simply something caused by your bloodlines interfering with each other. Lions and tigers are related anyway, so their genes are not entirely incompatible. However, if you only rely on natural mutations to fuse these bloodlines, who knows how many generations it'll take. Moreover, you can't pass on these mutations. The offspring born from lion and tiger demons are likely to die young, right? And even those who survive don't live long. The lion-tiger sword saint took a deep breath and said fiercely, why are you telling me this? What's the point? Can you solve it or something? I can, Tang Sen said calmly. The lion-tiger sword saint was shaken, and he exclaimed, what did you say? Tang Sen said irritably, why don't you say it louder so those listening from outside can hear you? The lion-tiger sword saint's chest heaved violently and his voice trembled. Can you really do it? I have a way. But I need your cooperation. How do I cooperate? The lion-tiger sword saint asked eagerly. It's difficult and there's a heavy price to pay. Why should I help you solve this problem? The lion-tiger sword saint turned stiff for a moment. Suddenly, he resolutely said, if you can help my clan solve this problem, my life will be yours. I'll be your slave and servant without hesitation. Tang Sen shook his head and said, I don't want you, then what do you want? The lion-tiger sword saint asked angrily. Tang Sen glanced at him and said, if you can't even control your own emotions, you'll never reach the god level. The lion-tiger sword saint growled lowly, what exactly do you want? If I can help your clan solve this problem, it means the lion-tiger clan will have a chance to reach the pinnacle, and you yourself have the possibility of becoming a demon emperor. Isn't that a huge favor? The lion-tiger sword saint didn't reply. But the answer was obviously yes. Tang Sen said, I don't need you to be my slave or servant, but your clan must be my ally forever, ready to respond whenever called upon. Ally, just an ally. The lion-tiger sword saint was stunned. He had thought Tang Sen wanted them to submit to him. Tang Sen's voice was calm. Of course, just being allies is enough. The lion-tiger sword saint said decisively, no problem, as long as you can do it. I can promise this on behalf of my clan. I am the strongest of our clan, and the elders would agree anyway. Tang Sen asked, how many members exist in your lion-tiger clan now? The lion-tiger sword saint hesitated for a moment before saying, less than 200 are still alive. Tang Sen nodded and said, take me to them. Words alone aren't enough, I'll show you proof. As he spoke, he raised his right hand and struck the lion-tiger sword saint's chest with his palm. The lion-tiger sword saint was pushed back a step, but in the next moment a light flickered around him as the seal was lifted. The lion-tiger sword saint was stunned. He hadn't expected Tang Sen to remove his seal just like that. After a moment of silence, he growled, let's go, and started to walk out. Tang Sen moved quickly, blocking his way. Where are you going? Are you afraid they won't notice? The lion-tiger sword saint was puzzled. What do you mean? Follow me. As he spoke, Tang Sen turned and walked toward the next room. The lion-tiger sword saint, somewhat confused, followed behind him. This room looked completely ordinary, but as the lion-tiger sword saint entered, he felt a strange sensation. Something was affecting his spiritual power. Tang Sen waved his hand at that moment, and light seemed to flicker from it. Instantly, the scenery changed and the room's original arrangement disappeared, revealing strange array patterns on the floor. Tang Sen gestured for the lion-tiger sword saint to come to his side. Before the lion-tiger sword saint could say anything, light flashed and both of them vanished into thin air. The lion-tiger sword saint felt as if he was caught in a whirlwind. When he steadied himself, he was astonished to find himself standing on a mountaintop with Tang Sen beside him. How did you do this? The lion-tiger sword saint asked in shock. A medium-distance teleportation array, that's all, Tang Sen said naturally. That's all. The lion-tiger sword saint looked at the disappearing array patterns beneath his feet. This unheard-of device was just that's all. Remembering how Tang San's companions used short-distance teleportation to gain distance on the battlefield, however, he couldn't help but feel that this human was even more capable than he had thought and more mysterious at the same time. Where are your clansmen? Since you're here to compete in Kali City, they should live nearby, right? This is the Kali mountain range, Tang San said. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint nodded and said, we are just west of Kali City. Tang San asked, Kali City doesn't allow you to enter. Even if most of your kind don't live long, the adult Lion Tiger demons should still be strong in battle, right? The Lion Tiger Sword Saint smiled bitterly and said, what good does that do? The lion and tiger races don't accept us. Under the intimidation of these two powerful races, who would dare to take us in? Moreover, most of our people have to stay in the village to care for those who are unwell. There's not much else we can do. I compete in group battles in Kali City to earn money to support them. Tang San said, lead the way, I'll follow you. Tell me about your clan on the way. All right, let's go. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint leaped into the air, and Tang San followed him. As the Lion Tiger Sword Saint explained, Tang San gradually understood their clan's situation. In a sense, the Lion Tiger clan was exiled. According to legend, the first Lion Tiger was born from a forbidden love between a lion demon and a tiger demon. The probability of offspring being born from the union of lion and tiger demons was only about 2%, and even then 9 out of 10 cubs would die young. Thus, such an union had hardly anything to do with reproducing. However, lions and tigers were very faithful to one another once they chose a mate, and since they would always stay by each other's side, offspring would eventually be born. If the surviving lion-tiger cubs were lucky enough not to die young, they could become very strong, much stronger than ordinary lion and tiger demons. However, the biggest problem was that their lives would be very short. The conflict between their bloodlines would kill them early and suddenly when they reached adulthood. Actually, when the first lion-tiger appeared, the lion and tiger races were pleased. Both races were strong, and their offspring should theoretically be even stronger. Unfortunately, when the bloodline conflict occurred, nobody was able to find a solution. There were talks of a curse, one caused by forbidden love going against nature, and that eventually led the lion and tiger demon races to put a blanket ban on intermarriage. It also led the pure-blooded lion and tiger demons to consider the offspring of lion-tiger couples as abominations. However, the problem was that lion-tigers already existed, and some lion and tiger demons continued to interbreed due to some circumstances or others. This continued for thousands of years, so although lion-tigers were rare, they always existed. These lion-tigers were ostracized. As soon as a lion-tiger appeared, it would be driven away from both of its clans, and that was if a particularly tyrannical clan head didn't simply kill them directly. Therefore, the lion-tigers bore a cruel inheritance. When a lion-tiger experienced a bloodline conflict, there were only two outcomes. Most strong, adult lion-tigers would suddenly die from the conflict, while the weaker ones, or those who hadn't fully awakened their bloodline, would gradually weaken and die. The latter was the more common scenario. They needed to consume many natural treasures rich in life energy to prolong their lives. This was why the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint fought desperately in the group battles to earn money. He needed a lot of money to exchange for natural treasures to help his weakening clansmen sustain their lives. The Lion-Tiger Sword Saint's wife also experienced a bloodline conflict not long ago. She was pregnant, and the bloodline conflict caused her not only illness but also a miscarriage. The Lion-Tiger Sword Saint felt immense grief. He had already spent a fortune on natural treasures, so how could he not be excited when he heard Tang San had a solution to the bloodline conflict? After understanding the general situation, Tang San had a plan in mind. Lion Tiger Village was located in a mountain valley about 100 miles west of Kali City. This area was considered a forbidden territory for most races. Though lacking god-level powerhouses, the Lion Tiger clan was extremely formidable in battle. Their misfortunes had been the very hammer and anvil that forged their fierce nature. Any outsider who dared to enter their territory would face deadly force. Although the lion and tiger races exiled them, the lion tigers still carried the bloodlines of these two powerful races. No one wanted to risk offending these powerful races by targeting the lion tigers, and there was no benefit in doing so. They sped along the way. When they stood on the mountaintop, looking at the village in the distant valley with houses made of stone and little else, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint couldn't help but roar at the sky. He hadn't returned in many days, and Tang San could hear a faint tremble in his roar. Just as the Lion Tiger Sword Saint was about to lead Tang San down, 3 figures swiftly rushed out from the Lion Tiger village, heading straight for them. There were 3 lion tigers, each very strong, only slightly less than the Lion Tiger Sword Saint. Their bodies glowed with the light of the Lion Tiger Golden Astral, and they rushed toward the 2 of them like meteors chasing the moon. "Big brother," the leading lion tiger roared, rushing up to the Lion Tiger Sword Saint and grabbing his hand. Quick, quick, come with me. Sister-in-law might." The Lion Tiger Sword Saint quivered violently. "What happened to your sister-in-law?" The lion tiger lowered his head slightly, saying in a pained tone, "Sister-in-law is having a bloodline eruption. Come quickly. She's been holding on just to wait for you." As he spoke, he pulled the Lion Tiger Sword Saint and started running. "Wait," Tang San said, flashing in front of the Lion Tiger Sword Saint, blocking their path. The 3 lion tigers roared at Tang San in unison, their fierce lion tiger Golden Astral erupting, ready to attack. HMPH, Tang San let out a cold snort, his spiritual power infused with divine consciousness suddenly bursting forth, suppressing their roars. What are you doing? The Lion Tiger Sword Saint growled. Tang San said, if you want your wife to survive, don't be impulsive. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint hesitated. But she's having a bloodline eruption. This is the most severe case of bloodline conflict. It's already, Tang San said solemnly, you can't go now. Her condition must be very bad and she's holding on just because she wants to see you. If she sees you and relaxes, she might die. You can return to the village but don't appear before her. Let me try, there might still be a chance. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint quivered, suddenly. The burly man, as strong as steel, knelt before Tang San with a thud. Save her, please save her. As long as she can live, I'll be your servant. Please save her. By the end, he was sobbing uncontrollably. Tang San patted his shoulder, then turned to the other 3 lion tigers and said in a deep voice, take me to her. Although the 3 lion tigers didn't understand why a human was even there, they knew there was no time to waste. Gritting their teeth, they immediately sped off ahead. Tang San used Ghost Shadow Perplexing Track and the Wind Astral to accelerate, following them straight to Lion Tiger Village. Soon they entered the village. The atmosphere of the austere stone houses felt lifeless, with an invisible sense of oppression that made one feel uncomfortable deep down. The 3 lion tigers ran quickly, but the Lion Tiger Sword Saint had already caught up, his lion tiger golden astral burning intensely and his heart pounding violently. Without taking the time to observe the situation in Lion Tiger Village, they quickly arrived in front of a courtyard. The gate was open and the Lion Tiger Sword Saint was about to rush in but remembered Tang San's words. He stopped abruptly, looking hopefully at Tang San, who followed. Tang San gestured for him to stay calm and then walked in. The 3 lion tigers followed him in. The light inside the stone house wasn't very good. The windows were simple and small. On a large bed lay a female lion tiger. She was pretty large and she was not in human form. Her fur had tiger stripes, but her head resembled a lion's. From her weak life energy, it was clear that her condition was very poor and her heartbeat was extremely faint. Hearing sounds, she barely opened her eyes and seemed surprised to see a human entering. The lion tiger that had first spoken to Tang San hurried forward and called out to her softly, sister-in-law. Where is your big brother? The female lion tiger asked in a trembling voice. Big brother, the lion tiger didn't know how to respond. He instinctively wanted to say he was outside, but remembering Tang San's words, he didn't dare say it. Hello, I'm the doctor the Lion Tiger Sword Saint found to treat you. He went to get medicine for you and will be back soon. Hold on a bit longer. Let me check you first. Tang San's timely words diffused the situation. A look of doubt flashed in the female lion tiger's eyes, but she had no strength left. Her chest rose and fell slightly, her heartbeat becoming increasingly faint. Tang San quickly stepped forward, sat by the bed, and placed his right hand on her neck. With his spiritual power, Tang San almost instantly sensed her deteriorating aura. Her blood felt nearly dried up, and more strangely, some parts of the blood seemed to be fighting against some other parts. If she were human, she would have long since died. A lion tiger's strong life force, combined with numerous natural treasures, was probably what had kept her alive until now. The gentle energy of the mysterious heaven technique slowly flowed into the female lion tiger's body. She immediately felt a warm sensation spread throughout her, and her breathing strengthened slightly. Silently sensing the changes in her bloodline power, Tang San carefully used the energy to guide a trace of her bloodline aura. Wrapping it within his own, after coming to this world, he discovered that his mysterious heaven technique differed from when he was on the Douluo continent. On the Douluo continent, the mysterious heaven technique was the same as soul power, and it could be used directly with a martial soul. However, on the demon continent, the energy produced using the mysterious heaven technique was unlike any of the energies here. Apparently because the various bloodline powers on the demon continent came from demons and nymphs, not humans. But after continuous experimentation, Tang San found that this energy could allow multiple types of bloodline power to harmonize. At the same time, it seemed that even humans in this plane found it difficult to cultivate using this technique. This harmonization, when applied to Tang San himself, allowed him to possess multiple bloodline imprints. By using the energy of the mysterious heaven technique to stimulate these imprints, he could generate the corresponding bloodline power and abilities. As his cultivation increased, he could even activate multiple imprints simultaneously and use several abilities at once. Although this accelerated the consumption of energy, the conversion rate between the energy of the mysterious heaven technique and bloodline power was incredibly good. And the more bloodline types it supported simultaneously, the better this rate was. This was why, despite being only at the 8th order of the mysterious heaven technique, he could easily defeat the peak 9th order Lion Tiger Sword Saint. During the battle, specifically when he grabbed the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's foot and smashed him into the ground, he naturally absorbed some of the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's bloodline power into himself. This peak 9th order quasi-first-tier bloodline was of great interest to him. However, over the past few days, Tang San hadn't been in a hurry to integrate the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's bloodline imprint. It wasn't that he didn't want to. This bloodline power was filled with explosive strength but had numerous issues, and there was a lot for him to research. So when the Lion Tiger Sword Saint came to him, he was able to immediately discuss the major problem faced by the Lion-Tiger clan. This was because he had conducted in-depth research on the Lion-Tiger bloodline and was confident he could solve the problem. At this moment, within the female Lion-Tiger, the trace of bloodline power wrapped in Tang San's energy began to calm down. The two bloodlines stopped fighting each other and the color of their mixture started to change. The Lion-Tiger golden astral was a bright gold color at first glance, but when Tang San observed it closely, he noticed that it was actually a blend of two golden hues. These came from the Golden Lion clan and the Golden Tiger clan. Their bloodlines stimulated each other, but also repelled and interfered with each other, leading to the possibility of bloodline conflicts. The Lion-Tiger Sword Saint, due to his strong cultivation and vitality, could forcibly suppress it. But as his cultivation advanced, and especially if he aimed to reach the god level, he would inevitably face this enormous problem, and even for him, this would lead to certain death. This was why, despite the Lion-Tiger demon's powerful bloodline, there were no 10th order ones now. However, the situation was different. Under the influence of Tang San's energy, the bloodline within the female Lion-Tiger began to change. The two different bloodline powers, bridged by the energy of the mysterious heaven technique, slowly started to merge into one. At the same time, the overall power of the bloodlines dropped by 80%. This was partly due to the female Lion-Tiger's weakened state, but it also showed that the process of merging the two bloodlines consumed a great deal of energy. The newly formed bloodline power slowly took on a platinum hue, distinctly different from the previous bright gold. Tang San had previously tried this with the bloodline power he absorbed from the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint. However, the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint's bloodline power was much more robust, and about 30 of the energy remained after merging. But since Tang San hadn't absorbed much at the time, the resulting Lion-Tiger bloodline power was quite limited. Meanwhile, Tang San's own Wind Tiger transformation was already at the 8th order, with the potential to reach the 9th order. Thus, he wanted to absorb some more Lion-Tiger bloodline power before actually merging the imprint into his energy vortex. Once seeing that his method was effective, Tang San continued to inject his energy into the female Lion-Tiger while asking the 3 Lion-Tigers beside him, "Is there any close relative of her still alive? It must be a blood relative." The 3 Lion-Tigers exchanged glances. The smallest one said, "I am her brother." "Will that work?" Tang San said, "Yes. I need some of your blood to inject into your sister to help her recover." "Can you do that? Come on." The Lion-Tiger stepped forward without hesitation, showing his muscular arm to Tang San. Tang San nodded, "Stay by my side and be ready at any moment." The female Lion-Tiger was too weak. Her bloodline had been greatly consumed by the conflict within her. If it was transformed and fused, the bloodline conflict would be resolved. But the bloodline power wouldn't be enough to sustain her life. Thus, a blood transfusion was necessary. Tang San multitasked, continuing to slowly fuse the bloodline power within the female Lion-Tiger while raising his left hand. He condensed his wind astral into a sharp blade and made a cut on the brother's arm. Immediately, golden red blood flowed out. Guided by the wind astral, the blood flew to Tang San and was suspended in midair. The golden red blood was transformed into platinum by the energy of the mysterious heaven technique and then introduced into the female Lion-Tiger's body through her pores. When the platinum-colored blood appeared before the 3 Lion-Tigers, they felt a tremor in their hearts. They seemed to sense something. Their own bloodline powers were gently fluctuating. At the doorway, a large head peeked in, observing the situation inside. The Lion-Tiger Sword Saint couldn't help but worry. When he saw the platinum-glowing blood, he was shaken, and a look of astonishment flashed in his eyes. His cultivation was strong enough to vaguely understand what kind of power this was. This seems to be, as the fused blood continued to be infused into her, the female Lion-Tiger began to emit a faint white light. Although it was still weak, her aura no longer felt as if it were on the brink of disappearing. The Lion-Tiger Sword Saint desperately wanted to rush to his beloved side, but he was worried about the situation Tang San had mentioned earlier. He could only endure and watch this strange scene. Suddenly, he had a feeling that the life and death calamity that had plagued the Lion-Tiger lineage for thousands of years might truly have a solution. After half an hour, the male Lion-Tiger began to sway from the significant blood loss, and Tang San stopped drawing his blood. Meanwhile, his sister had fallen into a deep sleep, but her breathing was steady. Her bloodline power was now fully fused, but there was just too little of it right now, even after the transfusion. It was barely enough to sustain her vital functions, and she would experience a significant loss in cultivation. Even so, her life was no longer in danger. Tang San exhaled deeply, slowly retracting his energy. The sleeping female's brother was propped up by his 2 fellows, and their 3 massive heads were close together, looking at Tang San with hope. Her life is no longer in danger, but she will need a lot of life force replenishment. You must find many natural treasures for her to consume. She will need some time to recover. Come in. The last sentence was clearly directed at the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint. In a flash, the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint was by his side, eagerly crouching down and pressing his head against the female Lion-Tiger's head, silently feeling her condition. The female Lion-Tiger's aura was still weak, but her breathing and heartbeat were steady. Most importantly, her bloodline power, though faint, was also stable. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint took a deep breath and turned sharply to Tang San. I don't know how you did it, but my word is my bond. From today onward, I am your servant. As he spoke, he once again tried to bow to Tang San. Tang San grabbed him by the shoulders. And even though he used the strength of an elephant demon, he could barely hold the Lion Tiger Sword Saint up. As I said, we are allies. I don't need servants, and the noble lion tigers are no one's servants. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint took a deep breath, slowly stood up straight, and controlled his emotions before saying, if I'm not mistaken, you just helped her merge the conflicting bloodlines. Tang San nodded and said, continuously injecting life energy can temporarily allow you to control your bloodline power with your strong vitality, but it's like drinking poison to quench thirst. The life energy will strengthen your bloodline power, which in turn will make the conflict even worse. Once it erupts, it will result in sudden death, so we can't just treat the symptoms, we must address the root cause. I have a method that can merge your two bloodlines, fundamentally solving the conflict. I just tried it and it appears that it's working. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint's gaze instantly became fervent. Can it work for all our clansmen? Tang San said, theoretically yes, however there are some prerequisites. First, the individual must be an adult lion tiger. During the fusion process, the total bloodline power will be greatly reduced after purification. For someone with a strong physique like yours, about 30% of the bloodline power will remain. Barely enough to sustain life, but young ones don't have enough energy, so they might not survive. Also, it'd be best to have close relatives nearby, ready to provide blood. During this transformation process, all the blood in the body must be converted at once, otherwise the effort will be wasted and even a three-way bloodline conflict might occur. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint asked, will the fused bloodline power still allow for cultivation? Will there still be bloodline conflicts? Tang San replied, theoretically, all problems will be solved, but how far you can cultivate will depend on your efforts. However, I can assure you that the fused lion-tiger bloodline will be stronger than before. It could likely be considered a true first-tier bloodline. As for how strong it is and how it works exactly, you'll have to explore that yourselves. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint looked at his three brothers, whose eyes were fixed on Tang San, their breathing increasingly heavy. They all knew what it would mean if the bloodline conflict of the lion tigers could be resolved. Achieving a true first-tier bloodline would bring them unprecedented power. Please wait a moment, I'll go get the elder. With that, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint turned and rushed out. Tang San smiled faintly, found a stone stool and sat down cross-legged, silently recovering from his earlier exertion. He had been multitasking earlier, constantly monitoring the female lion tiger's condition, which had taken a considerable toll. Before long, the Lion Tiger Sword Saint returned, accompanied by a burly yet slightly hunched elderly lion tiger. The aura of this elder lion tiger was very dense and his bloodline seemed almost solidified. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint followed behind him, showing great respect. Tang San opened his eyes and stood up. The Lion Tiger Sword Saint quickly said, Elder, this is the human I mentioned. His name is Asura. The Lion Tiger clan elder's gaze quickly focused on Tang San, his eyes flickering with light. Without speaking, he quickly moved to the bedside to examine the female lion tiger. Gradually, his expression changed from calm to shock and then to astonishment. When he suddenly turned to look at Tang San, he almost instinctively asked, How did you achieve something even the demon emperors couldn't? Tang San replied, Greetings, Elder. As you can see, my method is effective, but it is my secret. I cannot reveal it, nor do I wish to deceive you. The Lion Tiger elder's eyes flickered and he said, I heard from Big Cat that you want to become allies with our clan. Big Cat, is the Lion Tiger Sword Saint's name Big Cat? Yes. I hope that if I can solve your bloodline's major problem, giving you the possibility of reaching the god level, you will ally with me and we can support each other. The Lion Tiger elder took a deep breath and said, Aren't you afraid that I might detain you here to study your method? The Lion Tiger Sword Saint became anxious and couldn't help but say, Elder, he is the benefactor who saved little Cat. The Lion Tiger elder glared at him and the Lion Tiger Sword Saint stopped speaking. Tang San said, I dared to come so naturally. I'm not afraid. First, my method cannot be replicated by anyone. If I don't help you personally, then nobody can. Secondly, you cannot keep me here. I don't believe anyone in your clan is stronger than the Lion Tiger Sword Saint. If I can defeat him, I can defeat the rest of you as well. Moreover, I come with sincerity. If the Lion Tiger clan's problem can be solved on a fundamental level, your future offspring will be truly powerful lion tigers with merged bloodlines. Before discussing anything else, you can cooperate with me until I've completed the bloodline fusion for your entire clan. There's no need to have a conflict with me. The Lion Tiger elder's gaze gradually softened. You are a wise human. Tang San replied, I don't dare to call myself wise. I only hope to ensure a better future for humans so they no longer live as slaves. The Lion Tiger elder looked at the honest young man before him and took a deep breath. If you can truly help our entire clan fuse their bloodlines, then the Lion Tiger clan will be your eternal ally. You will be considered our greatest friend. What other conditions do you have? You can state them. Tang San said, fusing the bloodlines of your entire clan will take time. I already mentioned the prerequisites to the Lion Tiger Sword Saint. Initially, you can select qualified clansmen for the process. Then, as unqualified clansmen gradually meet the conditions, they can undergo the fusion. What I hope for is that in the future, when I need it, you can help humans in battle, standing on the side of humanity. The lion-tiger elder shook his head silently. Although humans are weak, they are numerous. I cannot ask my clan to fight for all of humanity. We are few and already on the brink of extinction. I cannot risk the survival of our race. Besides, our clan is not strong enough now. However, at this point his eyes brightened. We can fight for you, only for you. As long as you are around, just say the word and the warriors of the lion-tiger clan will come to your side and fight for you. Tang Sen looked at the lion-tiger clan elder with some surprise. After contemplating for a moment, he slowly nodded. That can work. The lion-tiger clan elder continued. I need to see more success. Additionally, we need to verify whether this new bloodline can truly make our clansmen stronger. Tang Sen replied, of course. In a while I will go to the ancestral court. Before that I will fuse the bloodlines of the first batch of your clansmen. So please select the strongest members of the lion-tiger clan, preferably those who have close blood relatives. We will start with a few to try it out, and once we're successful, we can expand it further. The lion-tiger clan elder nodded. No problem, I will arrange it immediately. Tang Sen also nodded in response. I have a place with abundant life energy that is more suitable for the lion-tiger clan to live in. If you are willing, I can take you there. After the bloodline fusion and purification, your cultivation base will decrease significantly and it will need to be rebuilt. This process requires a rich life energy. The lion-tiger clan elder hesitated momentarily, and he was just about to say something when Tang Sen continued, but before I take you there and before we proceed with your bloodline fusion, we must establish a contract. We must sign a blood pact to ensure mutual trust. Hearing this, the lion-tiger clan elder actually breathed a sigh of relief. A blood pact was the highest level of agreement on the demon continent. Once established, not even a demon emperor could break it without suffering a fatal backlash from their bloodline. All right, I will represent the lion-tiger clan to establish a contract with you. The facts were right in front of him. The bloodline power within the female lion-tiger had been indeed fully fused. The lion-tiger clan elder felt its potency even more clearly than the lion-tiger sword saint. The fused energy was far superior to the original lion-tiger bloodline. It contained immense power, and it might well truly be a first-tier bloodline. This temptation was too great to resist. Moreover, solving the continuity issue of the lion-tiger clan was crucial. In fact, with only around 200 lion-tigers left, the clan was on the brink of extinction or could be wiped out at any moment. A lifeline had finally appeared, and despite the elder's inner doubts, he had no choice but to grasp it. Tang Sen had asked about the number of remaining lion-tigers earlier to make this judgment. Therefore, when he communicated with the lion-tiger clan elder, he was very direct, knowing for a fact that the elder had no other choice. Establishing a blood pact was not a simple matter. Tang Sen followed the lion-tiger clan elder to the village central altar. The lion-tiger clan was one of the few demon clans that did not worship their ancestors. They believed they had been forsaken by their lion and tiger demon ancestors and cursed by their bloodlines. Therefore, they only worshipped the heavens. The altar was very simple, made up of many piled-up beast bones. Tang Sen carefully observed it and fortunately did not find any human bones. Otherwise, he would have had to rethink signing a pact with the lion-tigers. The lion-tiger clan indeed did not eat humans. The reason was quite simple. Human flesh and blood were too weak in life force to serve as their food. The lion-tiger clan elder used his sharp claw to cut his left forelimb, letting the blood flow into the altar. I, Sky Cat of the lion-tiger clan, hereby establish a blood pact with Asura of the human clan today. I, Asura of the human clan, hereby establish a blood pact with Sky Cat of the lion-tiger clan today, Tang Sen said in a deep voice, imitating the elder's action. Sky Cat elder continued, today, Asura solves the bloodline conflict problem for our clan. We, the lion-tiger clan, will become allies with him, helping each other and forming an eternal bond. Should Asura need anything, we will protect and fight for him with all our might, never betraying him. In return, Asura must thoroughly resolve our bloodline conflict, becoming a true ally of our clan, never to betray us. We established this blood pact, witnessed by our bloodlines and the heavens. Tang Sen repeated the elder's words. Under the guidance of their spiritual powers, the two different bloodlines slowly merged, causing a misty blood light to rise from the altar. The names were not significant. Even if Tang Sen used the name Asura, he could not break the promise, as his own blood witnessed it. The blood light slowly merged into their bodies, forming a contract imprint. Tang Sen instinctively glanced toward the distant Kali city. Mei Gongzi, are you well? I've prepared another gift for you. The blood pact was established. From that moment on, they were true allies. Then Elder Sky Cat told Tang Sen about the village. As it turned out, the state of the lion-tiger clan was beyond pitiful. In total, the clan had 232 members. Over 60% were old, weak, or disabled. Only about 70 could be called warriors, including both males and females. The lion-tiger sword saint was the strongest among them. His earnings from the great beast fighting arena sustained the clan. But now, survival was becoming increasingly difficult because the bloodline conflict remained unresolved and the number of clansmen steadily decreased. If Tang Sen had not arrived, Big Cat's wife, Little Cat, would likely have perished. Tang Sen first had Elder Sky Cat assess the current situation within the clan. He identified those who needed immediate treatment and were on the brink of death, prioritizing those with close blood relatives. If there were no blood relatives, he sought out those with the closest bloodlines to have them. As long as a clan member was still alive, then they could be brought back even from the brink of death. An interesting point about the Lion-Tiger clan was that they did not recognize themselves as part of either the lion or the tiger races. But since both lions and tigers belonged to the feline family, they called themselves cat. They harbored deep hatred towards both the lion and the tiger races. It was because of the rejection by these two races that they had reached the brink of extinction. Otherwise, with the resources of the two powerful races, they wouldn't have fallen to their current state. Tang San focused on solving critical patient issues in the following half-month. He found that although the Lion-Tiger clan had inherent bloodline conflicts, their bloodlines were very similar. This was also due to their small numbers, which often resulted in offspring from close relatives. In the end, he managed to save all 20-some critically ill patients. The blood pact was just an agreement that could bind both parties, yet Tang San's actions were a priceless favor to every family of the Lion-Tiger clan. The fact that he was a human did not impede him in the slightest from gaining the recognition and gratitude of the entire clan. In the words of the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint, Big Cat, he was the true benefactor of the Lion-Tiger clan. During this period, Tang San took Sky Cat and Big Cat to Golden Valley, allowing them to experience the life energy within personally. Naturally, this left both of them in awe, however. Sky Cat decided not to rush the entire clan's relocation for a simple reason. Although the two powerful races rejected them, strong members from those races frequently monitored them. Suddenly disappearing would easily arouse suspicion. After discussing, Sky Cat decided to send those clansmen who had already been treated and had their bloodlines successfully fused to Golden Valley. This was to prevent the discovery that they could now fuse their bloodlines, and because the rich life energy in Golden Valley would greatly aid their recovery. Tang San was ready to leave. However, since his residence in Kali City was constantly under surveillance, he needed to return regularly to show his presence. The Lion-Tiger Sword Saint, Big Cat, escorted him to the teleportation array at the mountaintop. Today, he seemed unusually quiet. Tang San said, "What's wrong?" "Little Cat is recovering well, don't worry." "Yes, I know. She told me that although her cultivation has greatly decreased, she's recovering quickly. In at most 6 months, she can return to her previous level. Moreover, her bloodline power has become much stronger after the fusion. We are all very grateful to you. If it weren't for you, I would have lost my wife." Tang San smiled. "Then why do you still seem hesitant?" Big Cat smiled wryly. "I've been thinking these past few days. Actually, I know what you're thinking. I'm about to go to the ancestral court. You want to come with me to protect me. But you also envy your companions and you want to undergo bloodline fusion as soon as possible, right?" Big Cat's face turned red as he scratched his head. "Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking." Tang San said, "Tomorrow, I'll help you with the transformation. Then, you can stay in Golden Valley with Little Cat and recover your cultivation as soon as possible. I don't know how long this trip will take and your situation can no longer be delayed." Big Cat said, "But at the ancestral court, you'll be targeted and it'll be very dangerous. I should stay by your side to guard you. That was our promise to you." Tang San waved his hand and said, "I dare to go because I'm confident in my ability to protect myself." "You can rest easy about that. However, your issue needs to be resolved as soon as possible. I've been waiting for the conflict in your bloodline to intensify. You're already at the peak of the 9th order and I feel you are suppressing your cultivation level. Soon you won't be able to hold it back anymore, and once that happens, you won't go higher in cultivation, but lower underground to meet your ancestors. But the closer you get to that edge, the stronger your bloodline power compresses and the more power you'll retain after the fusion. That's why I haven't been in a rush to fuse your bloodlines, but we can't delay much longer. As for protecting me, I don't need your protection until I reach the god level. Your bloodline fusion must remain a secret until then, lest the lion and tiger races discover it. If they do, you might be taken back as a research specimen or a breeding beast." Big Cat's mouth twitched. "And he said that's impossible. Little Cat would kill me. I wouldn't dare." Tang San chuckled. "Your mouth says no, but your eyes say something else." Big Cat jumped up, saying, "Don't talk nonsense. Little Cat is great in every way, she just gets jealous easily. Don't ever say that in front of her." Tang San said, all right, no more teasing. It's settled, I'll perform the bloodline fusion for you tomorrow. After the fusion, by my estimates, you'll retain about 30 to 40% of your cultivation, so you'll be at the 6th or 7th order. During your recovery, study the abilities of this new bloodline. Your protection will be meaningful to me once you ascend to godhood with the truly fused Lion-Tiger bloodline. All right, I'll do what you say. Having resolved his inner conflict, Big Cat instantly showed a bit of excitement. He was looking forward to using the true Lion-Tiger golden astral. All right. You head back and rest up early, and I'll head back too. In about a week, I'll set off for the ancestral court. Before that, I'll help a few more of your clansmen who are in danger. After bidding farewell to the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint, Tang San returned to his residence through the teleportation array. For him, there was still an important task to do today. He needed to enhance his strength further with his imminent journey to the ancestral court. Indeed, today, he was ready to fuse the bloodline power of the Lion-Tiger clan truly. These days, he had been conducting bloodline fusions for the Lion-Tiger clan. Since members of the clan were very weak during the fusion process, he couldn't absorb too much of their bloodline power. Each time, he absorbed just a trace. Little by little, the lion-tiger bloodline imprint he had created reached the 8th order. Tang San was very much looking forward to this likely first-tier bloodline. Having the power of an additional first-tier bloodline would lead to a significant leap in his strength. He had been suppressing his cultivation of the mysterious heaven technique at the 8th order because once it reached the 9th order, it would be much more difficult to keep it from advancing further. However, increasing the power of his bloodline imprints came with no such issues. Not only was Big Cat looking forward to the fused lion-tiger bloodline, but Tang San himself was equally eager. When he returned to his residence, it was already night. The outside was quiet. Only by listening carefully could one hear the steady breathing of several companions during their meditation. The other 4 members of the Shrek squad did not experience significant increases in cultivation this month. This was normal, given that they'd had continuous breakthroughs recently. However, the past month had allowed them to truly process the experience gained from 10 team battles in the Great Beast Fighting Arena, leading to a better comprehension of their own abilities. Sitting cross-legged on his bed, Tang San closed his eyes and circulated the energy of the mysterious heaven technique, allowing the endless, gentle energy to flow throughout his body. Within his dantian, one bloodline imprint after another lit up, shining brightly, although not the highest order one. The 6th order discerning eye of heaven imprint shone the brightest. The other bloodline imprints dimmed in its presence. Next was the 8th order peacock transformation, Tang San's actual strongest bloodline imprint. Following that were the 8th order golden rock transformation, 7th order chrono croc transformation, 8th order elephant transformation, 8th order blue silver transformation, and 8th order wind tiger transformation. Among these 7 bloodline imprints, the wind tiger transformation, flickering with cyan green light, was the weakest. Although the blue silver emperor was also not particularly strong, after Tang San fused multiple plant-based bloodline powers and nurtured it for a long time, it had reached the 3rd tier of bloodline power and had further potential for evolution. The Wind Tiger transformation was also 3rd tier, but it was at the bottom and couldn't go any further. One even with an 8th order cultivation. A bottom 3rd tier bloodline was becoming increasingly useless, and right now it was nothing more than a disguise. In fact, Tang San's only problem after replacing the Wind Tiger transformation was how to mask his multitude of abilities. He had thought this through already. It was still under the guise of mutation. The Lion Tiger transformation's essence still had elements of the Tiger bloodline. With his current control over bloodline power, he could mask it somewhat. Unless someone was very familiar with him, they wouldn't detect anything amiss. Two Sky Shatterer was also helpful in this respect. He could use it as his weapon, and it wasn't easy for others to tell what bloodline power he was imbuing it with. Under Tang San's control, the Lion Tiger bloodline imprint slowly pressed toward the Wind Tiger transformation imprint. As the Platinum imprint touched the Wind Tiger transformation imprint, the latter burst into a brilliant cyan light, seemingly about to recoil. But almost instantly, the light emitted by the Wind Tiger transformation began to melt away in front of the solid white golden light, completely dissolving. This reminded Tang San of the first time he saw the unique effect of the Golden Lion Dog's Golden Holy Fire. The strongest aspect of the Golden Holy Fire was its ability to melt and devour the enemy's bloodline power. Now, it seemed this scene replayed with the Lion Tiger bloodline, but even more domineeringly. In front of it, the Wind Tiger transformation could hardly put up any resistance. The dissolving imprint acted like fuel, igniting the Platinum Lion Tiger transformation imprint. The platinum glow instantly became more intense. An unexpected situation arose that even Tang San hadn't anticipated. After the Wind Tiger transformation imprint disappeared, the Lion Tiger transformation imprint took over its spot within Tang San's dantian. But the burst of platinum brilliance didn't settle in place. Instead, it expanded outward, seemingly wanting to fill Tang San's dantian. Is it that domineering? Just as this thought arose in Tang San's mind, the platinum light transformed into platinum flames, bursting outward instantly. The nearby elephant transformation imprint was the first to be affected, even though it was also at the 8th order. The moment it came into contact with the platinum flames, it began to melt almost instantly. Tang San immediately felt he had lost connection with the elephant transformation. After consuming the Wind Tiger transformation, the Lion Tiger transformation imprint was not satisfied. It seemed eager to devour the other imprints and even hinted at a desire to dominate the entire dantian. In that instant, Tang San could be sure that the fused Lion Tiger bloodline was definitely a first-tier bloodline. Last time he had felt such a domineering sensation, it was from none other than the Celestial Fox bloodline. Upon realizing the danger, Tang San immediately took control of the other bloodline imprints. Measures had to be taken right away. The Blue Silver Emperor imprint quickly retreated. With its strength, it could not contend with the Lion Tiger transformation imprint. Meanwhile, the Discerning Eye of Heaven, which proudly took the main seat even though it was the weakest in cultivation, immediately erupted with bright white light. Novelunner logo Novelunner home browse genres search novels. Login Novelunner logo Novelunner home latest updates new novels completed ranking genres login /Soul Land 5. The Rebirth of Tang / Chapter 353, Chapter 353, Oct. 30. 2025, previous 353/1101. Next novel, AI Studio explore our top 10, 000 plus free novels within the Danshan. A vertical eye slowly opened, and the aura of the discerning eye of heaven descended from above, directly enveloping the platinum flame of the lion tiger transformation imprint. Instantly, the platinum flame was forced to a stop. For some reason. Even if they were of the same tier, other bloodlines seemed to harbor an intense dread of the discerning eye of heaven, and this dread caused the platinum flame to cease its expansion. The peacock transformation's imprint burst forth with silver light, blocking the space around the platinum light where the latter sought to spread. Only the pitiable elephant transformation, already partially devoured, was slowly dragged into the platinum flame, clearly doomed. Tang Sen couldn't help but feel amused and frustrated at the same time. I let you eat one and you take two from me. Now I've got two more spots opened up. Fortunately, the discerning eye of heaven, peacock transformation, chrono croc transformation, and golden rock transformation were strong enough to deter it. Although the chrono croc transformation was a second-tier bloodline, it wasn't afraid of the lion tiger transformation's flame. The imprint wrapped itself in a halo that seemed strangely warped, preventing the platinum light from coming any closer. The golden rock transformation was in fact afraid, but it was also rather fast. It retreated far away and did not approach. Tang San's divine consciousness was recovering very slowly under the nourishment of his spiritual power. In spite of this slow pace, however, it was far stronger than it had been in the beginning, and he now had no problem controlling these powerful bloodline imprints. After the initial shock, he allowed the lion tiger transformation to devour the elephant transformation and then took control of the imprint, making it retreat. However, the lion tiger transformation was still unwilling to accept a lower position, so it kept pressing forward, surpassing the blue silver emperor and the golden rock transformation. It even pushed down the chrono croc transformation. In spite of some resistance, finally it stopped before the fierce spatial fluctuations of the peacock transformation, stabilizing in third place. Like a massive platinum star, it gradually settled down obediently within Tang San's Danshan. The platinum glow was not the least bit weaker than the bright silver of the peacock transformation, and it even had a somewhat defiant aura. Although two 8th order bloodline imprints had disappeared from Tang San's Danshan, the overall energy had actually not decreased but increased. And with one more first-tier bloodline imprint, Tang Sen's strength had unquestionably reached a new level. Tang Sen silently felt the changes the lion-tiger transformation imprint brought about. His physical strength had not diminished despite the disappearance of the elephant transformation imprint. Undoubtedly, the lion-tiger transformation was stronger in this aspect. It appeared that the most significant characteristic of the lion-tiger transformation was its devouring ability. It was similar to the golden holy fire. However, compared to the latter, the lion-tiger transformation's devouring ability was even more potent, efficient, and domineering. As for the other abilities it had, he would have to research them and test them in actual combat, so it would take him a while to find out everything there was to know about them. However, Tang Sen could distinctly feel that after gaining the lion-tiger transformation imprint, his overall bloodline aura had become much more domineering and oppressive. Lions and tigers were kings among beasts, and a being that held both bloodlines was bound to be even more of an overlord. In fact, Tang Sen was more certain than ever that the lion-tiger clan would produce a demon emperor in the future, although the lion-tiger sword saint needed to be retrained with his foundation. Returning to the peak of the 9th order was just a matter of time. In other words, Tang Sen could get his own bloodline imprint to the peak of the 9th order whenever he wanted. In the meantime, all he had to do was research the bloodline imprint and master it. For now, he had to meditate and stabilize his energy. After a night of cultivation, Tang Sen was transformed. When Tang Sen awoke from meditation the next day, he instantly found his clothes stretched tight. He had grown 5 centimeters taller, his muscles were more robust, and his skin seemed to have a faint platinum glow. His whole body seemed filled with boundless strength. The celestial fox transformation brought him spiritual improvement, as well as the celestial fox vision. The peacock transformation controlled space, which was truly a major deal. Meanwhile, it seemed that the lion-tiger transformation enhanced physical qualities comprehensively. The long troubling issue of Tang Sen's physical strength was finally resolved. Although the order of his mysterious heaven technique remained the same, Tang Sen could feel his meridians becoming broader and more resilient, able to hold more energy. His overall cultivation level had only reached the mid-stage of the 8th order, but his strength had significantly increased. A faint smile appeared on Tang Sen's face. Looks like I haven't worked so hard for nothing. After freshening up, he pushed the door open, and right as he stepped out, he ran into Dubai, who had come to find him. "Time for breakfast, little Tang," Dubai said cheerily. The next moment, he seemed to sense something and instinctively stepped back. "Whoa, little Tang, you've changed." Dubai stared at Tang Sen with an intense look in his eyes. Tang Sen grinned at him, and a flash of platinum light appeared in his eyes. Suddenly, Dubai felt a chill run down his spine. He gasped and quickly stepped back, even employing Ghost Shadow Perplexing Track. At that moment, he felt as if a formidable, ferocious beast was rushing toward him, opening its maw wide to devour him. Tang San chuckled and reigned in his aura. Dubai, possessing the celestial fox transformation, was extremely sensitive and had just sensed the aura of the new lion-tiger transformation imprint. Tang San was still working on it, so he hadn't concealed it enough. What's with you? Dubai asked tentatively from outside the door. Tang San smiled. Nothing much, just made a little breakthrough. Come on, let's have breakfast. Although all five had their places to live, they had recently been dining at Wu Bingji's as the eldest brother's cooking skills were quite acceptable. Of course, that was the other's opinion, but as for Tang San didn't have time to cook and wasn't very particular about food, so he just ate what he was offered. Otherwise, with the culinary experiences from his past life, he would be pretty skilled. He even had friends who were culinary gods. By the time they reached Wu Bingji's home, Tang San had wholly concealed the aura of his lion-tiger transformation, so his domineering side remained unnoticed by the other three. Another breakthrough, Wu Bingji's and the other two's expressions became a bit strange. After the final team battle at the great beast fighting arena, their perception of Tang San had changed entirely. Although they knew Tang San was strong, they hadn't expected him to be so immensely powerful. Tang San had grown taller and more robust, now nearly the height of Wu Bingji. Those who watched their battles at the arena, as well as Tang San's defeated foes, would never have guessed that this formidable Asura was just a teenager. Indeed, Tang San was not even 14 yet, and he was the youngest member of the Shrek squad. Even Wu Bingji and the others would overlook Tang San's young age if not for a moment of reflection. The day Tang San single-handedly challenged and defeated the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint, they understood why he was so confident in leading them into this team battle. The Sword Saint was hailed as one of the strongest below the god level. What did it mean for Tang San to defeat him? It meant that even though he was technically at the 8th order, his combat power was at the peak of the 9th order. In other words, apart from the two gods at Redemption Academy, none of the teachers were as strong as him. They had their doubts about Tang San, but they clearly saw that everything he did was for their benefit, and he seemed very keen to help humanity in general. Thus, over the past 2 years, they had kept their doubts to themselves, preferring to believe that their companion was truly a peerless genius. Yet now, it had only been weeks since his victory over the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint, and he had made another breakthrough. You're not trying to reach the god level, are you? Gulai couldn't help but ask. Tang San smiled and shook his head. No, I'm far from getting there. It might take 5 or even 10 years. But Gulai wanted to say more, but Wu Bingji interrupted him. After breakfast, Tang San returned to his room and silently teleported away. Arriving in Lion-Tiger Village, as he entered the village, he saw the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint waiting for him. Accompanying the Sword Saint was Elder Sky Cat of Lion-Tiger Village. Big Cat approached him immediately. Brother Asura, you're here. Tang San smiled and nodded. Elder, you're here too. Let's hurry, we can fuse the bloodlines of a few more before I leave. You shouldn't help Big Cat for now, Elder Sky Cat suddenly said. Tang San paused. And Big Cat also hesitated. Elder Sky Cat sighed. Benefactor Asura, I have witnessed all you have done for our Lion-Tiger clan these past days. Whether you have an ulterior motive or not, your kindness has solved a life and death problem that has plagued us for thousands of years. You are a great benefactor to our clan. Even if you wanted us to be your servants, it would only be right for us to do so. Big Cat has told me about your plans. You are about to journey to the Ancestral Court. The Ancestral Court is teeming with mighty figures, and they bear ill will toward your human team. It's time when allies are needed most. Big Cat is the strongest in our clan, but after the transformation, he will enter a period of weakness, so how can he assist you? Even if you help him, let it wait until you return. You must take him with you even if you use him as your mount. I will have a few skilled members from our clan accompany you on your journey. Tang San chuckled and shook his head. I appreciate your kindness, Elder. I understand your concerns. But this time, our journey to the Ancestral Court will rely more on wits than brute strength. As you said, the Ancestral Court is filled with formidable foes. The number of god-level warriors there is unknown. Even if we had more of your clan's people on our team, would that solve our problems? Against true powerhouses, we would still be helpless. For the Lion-Tiger clan, what's crucial is the merging of bloodlines and rising anew. If the future generations of your clan are born with innate merged bloodlines, then I will consider my mission accomplished. Right now, you need to stay hidden. Don't worry about me. With my teleportation array, I can escape danger when necessary. I wouldn't go if I weren't fully prepared when I return. I will help the rest of your clan's people. By then, your warriors should have recovered the expended bloodline power. In no more than 2 or 3 years, the Lion-Tiger clan will rise. Listening to his words, Elder Sky Cat's eyes filled with gratitude. Over these days, he had witnessed firsthand what Tang San had done. He had seen his clansmen completely resolve their bloodline conflicts and gain even more powerful bloodlines. As for the temporary weakness that came with it, that was nothing more than temporary. What the Elder felt was beyond mere joy. He had never imagined that in his lifetime he would see not the extinction of his kin, but an opportunity for their resurgence. Thus, for the Lion-Tiger clan, Tang San was now a true benefactor. Bound by a blood pact, he would never harm the clan, so the Elder trusted him completely. The Lion-Tiger Sword Saint couldn't help but say, "Are you sure about that? I should really go with you." Tang San responded, "Didn't we agree on this yesterday? You have the strongest physique among your kin. After the bloodline fusion, you should recover the fastest. Instead of coming with me, it's more important to regain your cultivation level before I return. If you do that, you'll be able to try for the 10th order soon. The true lion-tiger bloodline is no ordinary bloodline. You need to take your time to study it and discover its secrets. The process of bloodline fusion for the lion-tiger sword saint went smoothly, just as Tang San expected, thanks to his incredibly vigorous bloodline power and physique. He had no need to fear being weakened, much less being in life-threatening danger. He also didn't need a bloodline power transfusion, thus Tang San could fully focus on the fusion. Quickly, a platinum halo began to form around the lion-tiger sword saint, even more abundant than Tang San had anticipated. Once the fusion process was complete, the remaining bloodline power of the lion-tiger sword saint allowed him to stay at the peak of the 7th order. Moreover, there was indeed no evident feeling of weakness. As the fusion ended, the lion-tiger sword saint looked at the platinum lion-tiger golden astral formed in his hands, his eyes suddenly blazing with light as he roared skyward. All this time, ever since his cultivation reached the 9th order, he had been constantly on edge during his training. He never knew when a sudden bloodline conflict might erupt and cause his body to explode equals. Thus, he had always been extremely cautious during his cultivation, fearful of crossing the line. In fact, the fact that he had been able to suppress his increasingly powerful bloodline and prevent any issues from happening was testament that he was indeed the greatest genius in the history of the lion-tiger clan. At this moment, feeling that his bloodline power was free from conflict, a thrilling sensation spread throughout his body, and he felt that he could finally give it his all when he trained. Finally, he had the opportunity to reach the god level. Suddenly, he opened his arms wide and grabbed Tang San, flinging the comparatively smaller young man into the air. Thank you, ha ha ha, I can finally escape my fate." A faint smile appeared on Tang San's lips. The better the lion-tiger sword saint's talent, the happier he himself was. This meant that his own first-tier bloodline would have a stable source for continuous enhancement in the future. The lion-tiger bloodline power of the lion-tiger sword saint was much richer than that of his clan members. Absorbing even a little made Tang San feel his platinum bloodline imprint growing stronger. He had now solved the pressing issues of the lion-tiger clan, and with his registration in the nobility records also complete, all preparations for heading to the ancestral court were done. It was finally time to go. Tang San teleported back to Redemption Academy. But he did not go find Zhang Heoxuan, who was going to accompany them to the ancestral court. Rather, he went to Kali Academy first. His janitorial duties at Kali Academy had come to an end, and he would not return there for some time. He had taken the janitor job just for Mei Gongzi, and with Mei Gongzi absent, he had no interest in sweeping the yard. Arriving outside the gates of Kali Academy, where Asura once waited for Mei Gongzi, Tang San began setting up an array with materials he had prepared earlier. This was a very intricate messaging array capable of long-distance communication. The cost of materials needed for this array was comparable to that of a teleportation array, but Tang San still went through with it. Before Mei Gongzi went into seclusion, he had made a promise to her that once she emerged, she should wait here for him, and he would definitely appear within 3 days. Now that he was heading to the ancestral court, he had to leave a contingency in place so that he could be informed immediately if Mei Gongzi appeared. He spared no expense when it came to his promises to her, whatever the cost might be. As he had to make sure he wasn't noticed by the students passing by, he took nearly 2 hours to finish setting up the communication array. Only then did he return to the academy town and find his master. "I'm ready to go at any time. The Lion-Tiger clan has settled in well at Golden Valley, and they're getting along fine with your girls," Zhang Heoxuan said to Tang San. Tang San's mouth twitched. "Master, those are not my girls." "Why not?" Zhang Heoxuan asked, a teasing smile on his face. Cough, cough, they're friends, I guess. How's their cultivation going lately?" Tang San had to admit he hadn't paid much attention to the Crimson Fox girls as of late. Zhang Heoxuan explained. "Crimson One is the most talented. She has already reached the 5th order. The others are a bit behind her but are steadily improving. Their bloodline talents are somewhat weak, though. Even with the life energy from the Golden Tree, I think reaching the 6th order will be a big bottleneck for them. Without special measures, it'll be difficult to help them progress further." Tang San nodded. "When we go to the ancestral court, we'll figure something out together." Zhang Heoxuan asked. "Are you going to participate in the beast fights there? It's too dangerous. If things go wrong, you might." He had a rather complex look in his eyes as he gazed at his disciple. After Tang San had defeated the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint, Zhang Heoxuan had been subjected to serious interrogations by Si Ru and the other teachers. No one could understand how he had taught such a disciple. Outsiders didn't know Tang San's situation, but these teachers did. A 14-year-old boy defeating someone at the level of the Lion-Tiger Sword Saint. This was likely an unmatched feat even among the most talented demons at the ancestral court. Zhang Heoxuan truly racked his brain. He was even forced to ask the other teachers to keep a tight lid on the fact that Tang San was Asura, insisting that the secret had to be kept from the Redemption Society as well. He even swore on his own life as a guarantee for his disciple. Just managing to bluff his way through. Master, we have to face it sooner or later. We might finally have a real shot after this trip to the ancestral court. We've successfully allied with the Lion Tiger clan. Once we return, all that's left is to wait for Mei Gongzi to finish her seclusion. All right, I knew I couldn't talk you out of it. If you must go, then go. When do we leave? Tang San said. I'll let you know the exact time after I've met with the Etherhorn Deer Demon King. They finally set out 3 days after the meeting. Tang San and the Shrek squad joined a caravan of the Etherhorn Deer clan and headed toward the ancestral court. The Etherhorn Deer Demon King himself arranged this under the guise of having them gain experience at the ancestral court and seizing the opportunity to participate in the team battles at the great beast fighting arena. The Etherhorn Deer Demon King treated them favorably, especially preparing a luxurious carriage for the 5 of them. The carriage was spacious and it was drawn by 8 horned horses. While not comparable to the celestial steeds of a great demon king, these horned horses were exceptionally sturdy and they could go on long journeys while only resting at night. The carriage interior was 30 square meters, more than enough for the 5 of them. It was stocked with various supplies, ensuring they would travel in comfort. The journey from Kali City to the ancestral court was long. Even with horned horses that could cover over 2,000 li in a day, reaching the ancestral court would still take 15 days, illustrating just how vast the demon continent was. Given Tang San and his companions' cultivation levels, they could outrun the horned horses over short distances even without their teleportation arrays. However, for longer distances, unless using the flying ability of the Golden Rock transformation, they couldn't match the impressive endurance of these horned horses. Horned horses were demonic beasts, vassals to the horse demon race. Typically, only the wealthiest merchants could afford to use them. Of course, air transport by flying beasts was more prestigious, but the cost was more than 100 times that of horned horses. They were used only in extremely urgent situations. Flying beasts could go from Kali City to the ancestral court in 3 days. Lifting the carriage curtain to gaze at the rapidly passing scenery outside, Dubai couldn't help but exclaim, "It's been such a long time since I've left Kali City. It's great to be out," Wu Bingji said. "We're not going to the ancestral court for fun, so don't let your guard down. Remember, the Celestial Fox clan lives there. You need to be the most cautious." Dubai had the bloodline of the Celestial Fox clan and had now cultivated to the level of a 3-tailed Celestial Fox. The trouble he could face if discovered was unpredictable, but one thing was certain: if the Celestial Fox clan decided to act against them, resistance would almost certainly be futile. "Got it, I'll definitely be careful. After all, my life is pretty important," Dubai said with a grin. Gulai snorted. "I don't see you taking eldest brother's words to heart," Dubai smirked. "Do you want to taste what misfortune feels like?" Gulai's expression froze and he quickly gave a forced laugh. "My bad, brother Dubai, please let it slide." He had truly experienced the terrifying effects of misfortune. Dubai's abilities were quite formidable now that he was at the 6th Order. The caravan of the Etherhorn Deer clan moved very steadily. 2 days later, they entered another major city. They arrived at night, and before anyone could take a good look at the city, they set out again the following day. The caravan was well organized, and all necessary goods were transported promptly to the city. Tang San watched dispassionately, observing the bustling trade. Before their caravan had even arrived, the shops owned by the Etherhorn Deer clan had been prepared. Upon arrival, everything was handed over immediately without a moment wasted. No wonder they were so wealthy. In business matters, the Etherhorn Deer clan truly had unique expertise. The internal security of the Empyrean Dominion was fairly good. Along the way, aside from 2 demon beast attacks, the caravan faced no major issues. The accompanying guards were quite strong, eliminating the demon beasts before they could even get close. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye, almost exactly as planned. And they were about to arrive at the ancestral court, the most bustling place in the demon continent and also the one with the highest standing, home to many powerful beings. From a distance, the ancestral court could be seen nestled among towering mountains. This style of city building was somewhat similar to Kali City, but the mountains surrounding the ancestral court were significantly taller than those around Kali City. Atop those nearly cloud-piercing peaks, one could vaguely see several enormous statues. Each statue was in the form of a great beast. Tang San and his companions had long heard that these statues represented past and present demon emperors. Only demon emperors were worthy of having such statues on the mountains surrounding the ancestral court. It was said that these statues also contained the divine consciousness of the demon emperors, forever guarding the ancestral court. These encircling mountains were known as the Ancestral Mountains. On the continent's eastern side, the Ancestral Mountains predominantly featured statues of demon emperors, while the western side was home to more statues of nymph emperors. These statues were collectively called the Thrones of the Ancestral Mountains. Under their watch, the ancestral court held the demon continent and the entire Falan planet in its grasp. It was no exaggeration to call this place the center of Falan. Between the mountains, there were 8 major roads leading into the ancestral court, and there were no city walls, for the ancestral court needed none. Who would dare to act against it? The court was permanently home to at least 6 demon emperors and nymph emperors, beings of the 12th order who could annihilate an opponent thousands of miles away with a mere thought. Though there were no walls, entry into the ancestral court required detailed inspection. The guards consisted entirely of nobles from both demon and nymph clans, and each guard had to be at least at the 6th order. Caravans of the Eitherhorn deers had visited the ancestral court countless times before, and after a quick inspection and verification, they were swiftly allowed to pass. Tang San and his group went unnoticed. Before setting out, Tang San had a deep conversation with the Eitherhorn Deer Demon King, who promised to introduce them to the city lord's office once they returned from the ancestral court. Tang San expressed his sincerity to the wealthy Demon King, promising to seek out the array master and at least help them establish a relationship. After some mutual probing, the Eitherhorn Deer Demon King told Tang San that their discreet handling of their previous victory was appropriate, causing no significant disturbances among human clans despite their substantial influence in Kali City. Although the ancestral court's envoy was dissatisfied, aside from summoning Tang San and his group to participate in a team battle at the ancestral court, they showed little other concern. Ultimately, the demons still did not regard humans highly. This was undoubtedly good news for Tang San and his team. The less they were noticed, the greater their chances of success. The Eitherhorn Deer Demon King indicated that arrangements had been made for them. Specifically, once at the ancestral court, someone would instruct them on what to do. However, whether they could overcome the challenge would depend on their own abilities. Letting things cool off was the best strategy. In other words, it was best if they lost a battle, their fame would drop, but losing did not necessarily mean death. This much could be arranged by paying the right amounts here and there, however. The Eitherhorn Deer Demon King reminded Tang San again that he hoped they would find the array master. He didn't explicitly say anything, but it was abundantly clear what he meant. He could help the Shrek squad overcome this difficulty, but he could just as well destroy them. To this, Tang San readily agreed. At least for the time being, he still needed the support of the Eitherhorn Deer Demon King. After passing the checkpoint, they saw steep cliffs rise on either side, towering 1,000 feet high. Yet the central thoroughfare was exceptionally wide enough to accommodate 20 carriages like theirs to stop abreast. If one looked closely, one might notice that the rock walls on both sides seemed to have been cleaved by some sharp instrument, not formed naturally. What immense power it must have taken to split such high mountains to create this passageway. Upon entering this area, Tang San could faintly sense a potent divine consciousness swirling within the ancestral court. It even made him wonder if he had returned to the realm of the gods. The interior of the ancestral court radiated a vibrant energy of heaven and earth. This energy was abundant, concentrated, and with various attributes that could benefit many different bloodlines. This was also why the ancestral court stipulated that only nobles could enter. Those who were not nobles were not deemed worthy to absorb the rich spiritual energy within. Bathed in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, Tang San could feel the bloodline imprints within him absorbing energy on their own, even without him using the mysterious heaven technique. Indeed, this spiritual energy was somewhat mixed and needed refining to reap its true benefits. But compared to Kali City, this place was far superior. Tang San could feel that much of this spiritual energy emanated from the ancestral mountains. Peaks holding different sacred thrones released spiritual energy of various attributes, and that was what led to the mixed nature of the energy here. Just then, a streak of bright light flashed across the sky. A figure soared directly over the ancestral mountains and into the heart of the ancestral court. Tang San was looking out the window of the carriage, and he quickly focused his gaze on that figure. Vaguely, he could make out a pristine white figure, its wings flapping in the air, its whole body radiating a holy brilliance. The powerful aura seemed as if it could tear the sky apart. In an instant, it disappeared into the ancestral court. Incredible, a demon emperor. Tang San was secretly stunned. This white figure, he could vaguely discern, seemed to be a crane demon, even if it was not a demon emperor in terms of cultivation. It was likely very close. The fact that it dared to fly over the ancestral court spoke volumes about the individual's stature. By then, their caravan had traversed the long mountain road and finally arrived at the ancestral court. The ancestral court was situated in a vast basin. Tall buildings and vegetation filled the basin, and in the very center, several majestic palaces stood proudly. Each palace was perched atop a mound, exuding a sense of loftiness. There were as many as 16 such palaces, large and small, each with its unique form, but all impressively grand. Undoubtedly, these palaces were the abodes of the pinnacle powers who truly controlled the vast demon continent from within the ancestral court. Merely looking at them, one could faintly feel the intangible aura of authority emanating from these palaces. The palace closest to Tang San and his group was constructed of white stone. Situated atop a mound about 500 meters high, the entirely white palace radiated an intimidating dominance. In front of the palace stood a massive statue, not as large as the thrones of the ancestral mountains, but still impressively grand. The statue depicted a giant white tiger with wings on its back, its massive body, tens of meters in size, exuding a fierce aura. It seemed that this was the palace of the White Tiger Demon Emperor, the strongest of the tiger demon lineage and a venerable demon emperor. On another mound close to the palace of the White Tiger Demon Emperor stood a palace entirely in magnificent gradient colors. The lower part of the building was green, blending seamlessly with the various vegetation on the mountain, while the upper part was fiery red. The transition from green to red made it look like a flame shooting up into the sky. The overall shape of the palace resembled a giant mushroom, and Tang Sen guessed it belonged to a nymph emperor. Tang Sen could only clearly see these two palaces from his vantage point. Through his spiritual power, he could sense that the palaces of the Demon Emperor and the Nymph Emperor were absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth from the air, like vortexes devouring and absorbing. Yet they also released spiritual energy, seemingly expelling what they did not need. The rich yet mixed spiritual energy inside the ancestral court seemed to be directly related to their method of absorption and filtration. It's really, Dubai had already been staring agape. Not just him, but several members of the Shrek squad were also holding their breaths, watching this grand scene unfold outside. It was their first visit to the ancestral court, and before arriving, they had imagined many things about this renowned core of the continent. Yet, no matter what they had imagined, the reality still left them utterly astonished. Their 10 consecutive team battle victories in Kali City had built their confidence, and their increased cultivation had even added a bit of pride to their hearts. However, once they arrived and felt the aura of the ancestral court, a sense of insignificance overwhelmed them. They finally understood why, despite their achievements, the demon clans still seemed to disdain them. Here, they felt like mere grains of sand in the vast ocean, unable to muster even a thought of resistance. Even Tang Sen felt a heavy burden on his heart at this moment. He had insisted on coming to the ancestral court for a crucial reason, to understand this world and grasp just how powerful the demons and nymphs could be. After all, Kali City was just a remote corner, reportedly the weakest among the main cities, so what would the mightiest, the ancestral court, look like? What he saw was different from others. Through his divine consciousness, he could distinctly feel the presence of those lofty beings within the vast ancestral court. The power of the entire plain reached its zenith here, the grand palaces resonating with the ancestral mountains' thrones, each pulsing with immense energy waves, almighty beings. Tang Sen sighed deeply. He knew that unless he could regain his former god-king cultivation, leading the humans of this plain to resist the demons and nymphs was just a pipe dream. It was beyond difficult, it was simply impossible. These top-tier demon emperors and nymph emperors could match at least a second-class god and possibly even reach the strength of a first-class god. Even if Tang Sen regained his god-king status, destroying them all would likely mean battling against the entire plane and obliterating this planet. But if everything was destroyed, how could humans survive? The humans of this plane would perish as well. He couldn't just relocate all the humans on this plane to another planet. Upon arriving in this world, seeing humans enslaved and treated as the lowest of beings, a fire burned within Tang Sen. Beyond finding his wife, another goal he set for himself was to aid the rise of humanity in this world. But now it seemed a daunting and distant task, to truly elevate humanity on this plane. Using force seemed inadvisable. He had to find a new path and seek opportunities, only then might it be possible. This would require long-term planning. The immediate priority was to find a way to communicate with this plane and seize an opportunity to ascend to godhood. Only by returning to the god level could he mobilize everything. He had arrived with his memories and a fragment of divine consciousness. If the planar ruler discovered him, it would indeed identify him as an outsider. Once it learned of his god-king foundation and his potential to destroy this plane, how would they allow him to become a god once more? It would crush him first. That was Tang Sen's greatest peril. The energy on Fallen Planet was rich, and with Tang Sen's natural talent and divine consciousness, his cultivation level would continue to grow steadily even without cultivation. One day he would face the bottleneck of godhood, and once he could no longer suppress it, he would break through. Of course, Tang Sen would not passively wait for such a disaster. He needed to take the initiative and create opportunities for himself. Creating such an opportunity could not be just about compromise, nor could it purely involve coercion. He needed to continuously refine his strategy to find the best opportunity and formulate the optimal plan. After the caravan entered the ancestral court, it noticeably slowed down. The Etherhorn Deer Demon King's merchant seemed to hold some status nevertheless. Although it progressed along the edge of the road, it was still allowed to continue on the main road. The deeper they ventured into the ancestral court, the more they could sense the enormity of this giant city. Even the huge palaces were no longer visible once they entered the streets flanked by buildings. After about half an hour more, the caravan finally stopped. The caravan's leader approached Tang Sen's carriage and called them down. "We're here. You guys can go your way now, but you must sign up at the Great Beast Fighting Arena under the Shrek Squad's name. The arena master has already arranged everything for you. Besides the team battle, you're free to do as you like. Your identities were registered when you entered the city, so carry your noble badges to avoid trouble. There are a few important rules to keep in mind. No fighting is allowed within the ancestral court. If you're caught, you will face the court's enforcers, and that means execution. Of course, fights within the Great Beast Fighting Arena are something else. Also, those below the god level aren't allowed to fly here, and neither are vassals. Even gods have different flight zones. Make sure to remember these rules. Also, do not approach the ancestral mountains or the palaces of demon emperors and nymph emperors. Entering forbidden zones means certain death. Other than that, there are no particular restrictions. After you participate in the team battle, we will have arrangements for your return. You can sign up for the arena no later than 7 days from now. Got it. Tang San and his 4 companions nodded in agreement. The leader no longer paid attention to them and went off to attend to other tasks. The caravan stopped in front of a large shop named Etherhorn. From what they had learned along the way, the Etherhorn Merchant Association branches were scattered across the continent, not only in the Empyrean Dominion but also in the Solstice Empire. They were among the top merchants on the Demon Continent and the only notable economic presence Kali City could boast about. Economically, Kali City's reliance on the Etherhorn Deer Clan's operations was indeed strong. In earlier years, the Etherhorn Deer Clan had received great favor from the Peacock Great Demon King, thus remaining utterly loyal to the Peacock Demon Clan. However, with their wealth, even if the Peacock Demon Clan were truly supplanted by the Crystal Phoenix Demon Emperor, their allegiance would remain unshaken. Being able to stand equal with the Golden Deers, the Etherhorn Deers naturally had their own reasons to be confident. Wu Bingji looked toward Tang San, who said, "Let's leave this place first, find somewhere to stay." It was their first time coming to Ancestral Court, so observing the place thoroughly was paramount. Of course, their immediate task was to meet up with Zhang Heoxuan. Although Zhang Heoxuan hadn't specified how he would enter Ancestral Court, the god-level mayor surely had his methods. After all, the headquarters of the Redemption Society was right in the middle of Ancestral Court. There had to be a way for him to enter the city so he could report on his duties. When they left the Etherhorn caravan, Tang San and his 4 companions were wearing noble badges on their chests to display their status. Unlike in other cities within the Ancestral Court, they rarely saw any humans. However, the variety of races was much richer than in Kali City. Particularly, the nymphs with distinct plant-like features were a true eye-opener for them. Although the nymphs also had humanoid figures, their skin generally reflected their race. Some had roots growing from their heads, others flowers blooming on their shoulders, and still others vines flowing down their backs. The diversity was so vast that the 5 members of the Shrek squad found it quite overwhelming. The security within Ancestral Court was clearly excellent, with a squad of enforcers clad in black armor passing by now and then. Passers-by would actively make way for them. Contributing to the peaceful atmosphere of Ancestral Court, Tang San and his group could only roughly tell where they were going. Once they settled on a direction, they moved deeper into Ancestral Court. According to their agreement with Zhang Heoxuan, they would first find a place to settle down, and then Zhang Heoxuan would naturally come to find them. After about half an hour, the 5 stopped in front of a tall building, a sign above Reed White Tiger Hotel. The hotel appeared large, with an entrance door over 5 meters tall, accommodating the taller statures of the demon and nymph races. "Are we staying here?" Wu Bingji asked Tang San. "Let's stay here," Tang San replied. Wu Bingji led the way, and the 5 entered in a single file. Their human forms seemed quite small in this place. Once inside, they saw a grand hotel lobby that soared 20 meters high. The decor was simple, but it felt mighty and domineering. The carvings on the walls depicted various forms of the white tiger, clearly indicating that, just as the name suggested, the hotel was connected to the lineage of the white tiger demon emperor, if not directly owned by it. The group of 5 approached the counter where several young fox demon girls stood. Each was strikingly attractive, their stunning appearances catching everyone's attention. Wu Bingji said, "We need 5 rooms, please." The fox demon girls behind the counter examined them closely, at first showing shock, but gradually they regained their composure and tentatively asked, "Are you humans?" Wu Bingji paused before replying, "Isn't that obvious?" The fox demon girl exhaled and said, "You startled me. I thought some VIPs had arrived. It's impressive that you are nobles at such a young age. What kind of rooms would you like? We have standard rooms, VIP rooms, deluxe VIP rooms, Demon King suites, and the most prestigious, the Demon Emperor suites." Without thinking, Wu Bingji looked at Tang San, marveling at the Ancestral Court's uniqueness, such a variety of hotel rooms. Tang San asked, "How much do the rooms cost?" The fox demon girl explained, "A standard room costs 1 natri coin per day, 2 for a VIP room, 5 for a deluxe room, and 10 for a deluxe VIP room. Only a Demon King is qualified to stay in a Demon King suites and a Great Demon King in the Demon Emperor suites. The price for those is the same as the deluxe VIP room." Wu Bingji couldn't help but say, "Usually hotels charge in Etherhorn coins. Why does even the most basic room here require natri coins? That's way too expensive." They had fought life and death battles in the great beast fighting arena, and 1 natri coin each had been the reward for their first fight, the reward for risking their own lives. Staying here for 1 night in 1 room costing 1 natri coin was excessively expensive. The fox demon girl's expression subtly changed, and her smile was tinged with pride as she said, "The basic currency in the Ancestral Court is the natri coin. We don't use Etherhorn coins here." Wu Bingji suddenly felt slighted and quickly said, "Then give us 5 standard rooms, please." "Okay, please hold on a moment while I check." After a quick search, the fox demon girl said, "Sorry, we only have 3 standard rooms left," so Wu Bingji immediately asked Tang San, "Should we find another place?" Tang San replied, "Let's stay here. Reserve 2 VIP rooms, eldest brother, you and sister Zicheng can have 1 each." "All right then," Wu Bingji said, wincing at the cost as he booked 2 VIP rooms and 3 standard rooms. However, once the rooms were booked, Wu Bingji stubbornly refused to stay in the VIP room, insisting that Tang San take it. In his heart, although Tang San was young, he had long been both a mentor and a friend. They all knew very well that they wouldn't have made it this far without Tang San. Tang San could only agree, seeing no way to refuse, as expected given its high price. The hotel was the most luxurious they had ever seen. Even the standard rooms were 60 square meters, effectively small suites with a living room, a bedroom, and a spacious, comfortable bathroom. There was even a dedicated cultivation room. The cultivation room was filled with a richer spiritual energy that seeped in through openings in the walls. Likely, the hotel had something like a spirit summoning array that drew in the spiritual energy from outside. And even more importantly, it was filtered. Upon seeing this cultivation room, even Wu Bingji, who had been pained by the cost, fell silent. In terms of spiritual energy, this place was comparable to Golden Valley, though it fell far short in terms of life energy. The VIP rooms were even larger, at 90 square meters, and the spiritual energy in their cultivation rooms was even denser and purer, genuinely illustrating the principle of you get what you pay for. The rooms also came with a supply of fresh fruit. Judging purely by the density of the spiritual energy in the cultivation rooms, the cost-effectiveness was higher than that of the standard rooms. Though pricier, cultivating in such a place would yield results twice as good with half the effort. With 2 VIP rooms, all 5 of them could practice their cultivation. Wu Bingji quickly thought that if that was the case, they only needed 2 rooms as they could take turns cultivating and resting. However, Tang San dismissed this idea. One reason was that everyone had their privacy and cultivating together could easily lead to disturbing each other. It was better to have separate rooms. Moreover, their primary purpose in coming to the ancestral court wasn't just to cultivate, there were many other tasks to accomplish. After settling in, Tang San returned to his VIP room, stood by the window, and could just see the vast palace of the White Tiger Demon Emperor in the distance. This view was likely designed intentionally. Tang San took out a delicate metal ring from his storage bag. The ring was oval-shaped, with a small metal sphere attached at the center, engraved with complex patterns. Tang San channeled his bloodline power into it, placed it on his ear, held his breath, and concentrated, guiding it with his spiritual power. Soon, he heard a voice in his ear. "Have you all settled in?" a familiar voice asked. Tang San infused his thoughts into the device using his spiritual power and responded, "We've settled in at the White Tiger Hotel. Can you sense the location of this communicator?" "Yes, I can. Wait for me. I'll be right over. The hotel is quite unique. There are special perks for those above the Demon King level. I suggest you get a Demon King suite. The cultivation room inside should be even better. It's a bit pricey." Tang San cautioned, Do I worry about expenses now? I've got plenty of money." The voice on the other end was, of course, Zhang Heoxuan. The communicator Tang San was using on his ear had been inspired by an item he had received from the Ether-Horned Deer Demon King, a portable audio transmission array. Tang San studied that communicator and created an even more sophisticated one. It could transmit sound over greater distances through the infusion of spiritual power and also had a positioning feature, making it much more functional. However, creating this device was quite troublesome and required precise craftsmanship. He had made just 1 pair, which he used to stay in contact with Zhang Heoxuan. Zhang Heoxuan was quite wealthy now because of selling spirit summoning array discs. Even Tang San didn't know how much money his master had. But it had to be substantial given the latter's carefree attitude about spending. It didn't take long before the communicator rang again. "I've checked into the Demon King suite. It's unbelievable, really unbelievable. It's quite something. Come over. I'm in room 666 on the 6th floor. As Tang San headed to the 6th floor, he was stopped by 2 guards at the staircase entrance. He learned that to access the 6th floor, one either needed a room card or a cultivation level of at least Demon King. Tang San had no other choice but to contact his master again using the communicator. Zhang Heoxuan came to the staircase to personally escort him to his room 666. Upon entering the room, even Tang San felt like exclaiming, 666-1. He was greeted by a vast, lavishly decorated living room 100 square meters in size. One side of the living room featured floor-ceiling windows that opened to a balcony of the same size. Half of the balcony was taken up by a large hot tub, or perhaps it was better to call it a swimming pool, while the other half featured sofas and a lounge area surrounded by a ring of vegetation. This was just absolutely stunning. Besides the living room, there was a 20 square meter cultivation room, where the spiritual energy was so dense it almost felt tangible. Even more astonishingly, the aura emanating from this cultivation room nourished one's spiritual consciousness. Was the price of 10 natri coins expensive? Truly, it was not expensive at all. Tang San lingered in the cultivation room for a while and realized that his spiritual power was being significantly enhanced here, nourishing his divine consciousness more effectively. If he could cultivate in such an environment, his divine consciousness would surely recover faster. And this was just a hotel. Considering this, how much more effective would the cultivation rooms in the palaces of demon emperors be? No wonder they can produce 12th order powerhouses. It is something else. Is it worth it, master? Tang San asked with a half smile, looking at Zhang Heoxuan. Totally worth it, Zhang Heoxuan replied without hesitation. Indeed it was. When he felt his divine consciousness being nourished, he immediately understood this place's value. Of course. The price was steep. 10 natri coins could buy a lot in Kali City, but it only paid for one night's stay here. The master and disciple sat down in the living room. You said you've been to the ancestral court before, right? Zhang Heoxuan nodded. I've been here twice before, but back then I stayed at the headquarters since I couldn't afford a hotel. Not many can afford to stay at hotels here. Tang Sen smiled wryly. I've already felt the pinch from the prices. Master. When do you plan on going to the headquarters? Zhang Heoxuan said, in the next couple of days. Here's what I'm thinking. It's better to keep your situation under wraps for now, even from the people at the headquarters. I've discussed this with old Guan and Siru. You need more time to grow. After all, you are still very young. We're concerned that if they find out you are the Shrek squad that caused such a stir in Kali City, they might have other plans for you. And it won't be easy for us to refuse them then. Tang San nodded in agreement, resolute in his decision to stay in Kali City where his most important person was. Zhang Heoxuan continued, so I'll just go and report in by myself. I'm now at the 10th order, so it's a whole different story compared to when they first called me there. Plus, I'm now a blue class member of the Redemption Society. Even if the organization has ideas about our spirit summoning array discs, they won't make things difficult for me. I expect it'll just be some encouragement, and then they'll ask about the situation in Kali City. Don't worry, we'll need to keep spinning the tale about our array master. I'll report it that way to headquarters, too. Honestly, this breakthrough to godhood has left me feeling a bit disheartened. We've made so much money from the spirit summoning array. But headquarters took the lion's share, and yet they are still so controlling. You mentioned continuing to sell other array discs. I'll try to open up a sales channel this time so we can sell them ourselves in the future. Hearing Zhang Heoxuan's words, Tang Sen said, yes, I think it's best if you report in alone. Let's not rush the sales channel issue. You know what they say about innocent people having treasures, and there are a lot of parties interested in those array discs. Aren't we here with the merchant caravan of the Etherhorn Deers? From what I've seen, the Etherhorn Deers seem to have a very developed commercial network throughout the demon continent. Moreover, the Etherhorn Deer Demon King has close ties with the Peacock Demon Clan, which could be advantageous to control future distribution of the array discs. Considering we also need to address the repercussions of the Shrek Squad's 10 consecutive team battle wins, we could consider a direct partnership with them. It would be relatively safer, and the Etherhorn Deer Demon King is a very shrewd merchant. Such merchants know how to secure better and more stable profits. Hearing this, Zhang Heoxuan's eyes brightened. Do you mean that in the future, you would like the Etherhorn Deers to be our distributor for the sales of the array discs? This would also be an opportunity for the Shrek Squad to be free of the suspicions caused by humans being in the ancestral court. Zhang Heoxuan asked, what do you want to do? Tang Sen unleashed his spiritual power, blocking the transmission of sound around them, and whispered a few words to him. Gradually, a richer smile spread across Zhang Heoxuan's face. You really are, Tang Sen laughed. Isn't it all thanks to your good teaching? Zhang Heoxuan smiled wryly. Don't say that, I feel quite ashamed as a master. You've taught me more than I've taught you. In my heart, I haven't seen you as a child for a long time. Tang Sen said, Master, since we're new to Ancestral Court, what places do you think we should visit that would benefit our future growth or increase our knowledge? Zhang Heoxuan replied without hesitation, that would be the palaces of the demon emperors. They're a must-visit. Experiencing the aura of a demon emperor is somewhat of a rite of passage for all demons. Really? Tang Sen looked at him in surprise. The demon emperor's palaces are open to the public. Zhang Heoxuan nodded and smiled. To be more accurate, the palaces are part of the foundation of each demon emperor's clan. Naturally, some parts would be open for members of the clan to worship, though outsiders can also visit for a higher fee. Members of the demon emperor's clan pay 5 natri coins to enter for a visit or worship. Outsiders pay double, but I think it's worth it. For instance, Dubai should visit the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor's palace to pay his respects. It would be beneficial for him to feel the power of the demon emperor's bloodline. Tang San asked, wouldn't our identities be discovered? After all, it's the palace of a demon emperor. The divine consciousness of a demon emperor must be terrifying. Zhang Heoxuan shook his head. No need to worry about that. First, there are countless visitors to each palace. Demon emperors can't possibly cover them all with their divine consciousness at all times. Moreover, demon emperors rarely stay in their own palaces. The most sacred place in the ancestral court is the council, where nearly all demon emperors and great nymph emperors cultivate. Even if they are not at the council, they are more likely to be at the ancestral mountains' thrones than in their own palaces. You must have felt the reciprocal relationship between the ancestral mountains' thrones and the demon emperors' palaces. Each throne of the ancestral mountains is a place where demon emperors connect with heaven and earth. They transform the spiritual energy of heaven and earth into what their lineage needs, channeling it into their palaces to bless their clan. Demon emperors and nymph emperors compete in this aspect, neither yielding to the other. Thus, they must frequently visit the thrones of the ancestral mountains to strengthen their connection with heaven and earth. Upon hearing his explanation, Tang San's mind suddenly cleared. No wonder the spiritual energy within ancestral court is so rich yet so mixed. It's all due to these powerhouses competing against each other. Zhang Heoxun took a deep breath and said, "That's why the cultivation environment in this hotel is so rare. The filtered energy is not only much stronger than in the outside world, but also suitable for anybody's cultivation. The high price is indeed justified, but let's not dwell on that. Let's continue with the demon emperors and nymph emperors. Since you've come to the ancestral court, I think you must first make a round of these palaces. Don't miss any, visit them all. I believe some of the auras in these palaces will give you different sensations. These sensations will surely benefit our future breakthrough to godhood." Tang Sen said, "Master, I've always known there are a dozen or so demon emperors and nymph emperors, but who and what exactly are they?" Zhang Heoxun smiled and said, "That's exactly what I was about to explain to you all. Go ahead and call everyone here. I'll explain it to everyone at once, immediately." Tang Sen hurried downstairs and called his companions. They went back up to the 6th floor. Now recognizing him, the guard heard the report of room 666 and let them through. Which demon king or great demon king didn't have some followers? The 5 entered room 666, and Wu Bingji and his 3 companions were instantly full of awe. This room was hands down the most luxurious dwelling they had ever seen. Zhang Heoxun had already laid out a map on the large dining table in the living room, the map of the ancestral court. "Don't get amazed just yet. Come over here," Zhang Heoxun said to the 5. "I'll fill you in about the powerful beings of the ancestral court." The 5 quickly gathered around him, looking at the map before them. North on top, south at the bottom, west on the left, east on the right. Zhang Heoxun pointed out the directions to make it easier for everyone to recognize. In the history of the demons and nymphs, powerful figures abound, but even the mighty demon emperors are not entirely immortal. The oldest known demon emperor lived over 3,000 years, which seems to be the limit. Some demon emperors fall younger due to frequent conflicts. The lifespan of a demon emperor was news to Tang San, but not the fact that they were mortal. This was something that pertained to the very nature of the Fallen planet. However much power the beings of a certain plane had, as long as it was not connected to a divine realm, it was all dust in the wind. Fallen planet was without question the most abundant planet Tang San had ever seen, and this meant a lot coming from a god king. Its immense size and boundless resources were sure to give rise to many powerful creatures. Demons and nymphs dominated it, and they were not even the only races here. Yet no matter the race, one fact held true: no one on Fallen planet could achieve eternal life. Even the richest planets were still just planets, not divine realms. No matter how powerful the demon emperors or the nymph emperors were, they could not achieve immortality without the nourishment of divine aura and occupying a godly seat in a divine realm. A few thousand years of life was already the limit. Zhang Heoxun continued, "The world of the demons and nymphs is very pragmatic. Only the current demon emperors and nymph emperors are entitled to establish their palaces in the ancestral court. If a deceased demon emperor or nymph emperor has no successors within their clan, their palaces must be surrendered to the newcomers. Therefore, the palaces within the ancestral court are constantly changing hands. Look at the ancestral mountains surrounding the map. The number of thrones on the ancestral mountains far exceeds the number of palaces within the ancestral court. All demon and nymph emperors are entitled to a throne, and even after they perish, the thrones remain. Let's leave aside the thrones for now, and let's talk about the palaces within the ancestral court. There are currently 15 palaces and 16 living demon emperors and nymph emperors. The newly ascended demon emperor, the one who recently visited Kali City, has not yet had the chance to build his palace. He was severely injured in that battle with the Peacock Great Demon King, so he probably isn't in the mood to think about building a palace anytime soon. The reason he wants to take over Kali City is that the major cities are also the major industry hubs, and even a supreme being like him needs substantial resources for cultivation, though remote and not very rich in resources. Kali City is quite wealthy due to the Etherhorn Deer Demon and Golden Deer Demon lineages that reside there. The ancestral court naturally turns a blind eye to this. Today, I'll go into detail about the 16 current demon emperors and nymph emperors. You guys need to remember this well, it's going to be really important for you. Let's start with the demons. There are currently 9 demon emperors, including the Crystal Phoenix Demon Emperor, some you know of. Some you don't. The top-ranked demon emperor is called the Crystal Demon Emperor. Tang San and the others were somewhat surprised to hear this rather ordinary name. They couldn't recall ever hearing the name, so as far as they were concerned, the Crystal Demon Emperor wasn't even as famous as the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor. The Crystal Demon Emperor is recognized as the strongest among demon and nymph races alike. It has lived for over 2,000 years. But it hardly ever appears in public, even if we take into account the Ancestral Court's council. It was originally a crystal dragon, a solitary with a unique bloodline mutation. It has no gender and it cannot pass on its lineage. In other words, it's in the same situation as the Rainbow Deer Demon Emperor. However, the Crystal Demon Emperor is far stronger. Its bloodline ability is duplication, and it is capable of copying any other ability, regardless of how powerful it is. For this reason, its full title is the Omnipotent Crystal Demon Emperor. Rumors say that even if all other demon emperors combine their forces, they could at best defeat it but not kill it. This unique being has stood at the pinnacle of the demon continent for a full 2,000 years. Hearing this evaluation, the Shrek squad, apart from Tang San, felt their hearts tighten. How powerful was this being to be able to earn such a reputation? Zhang Heoxuan continued, the second-ranked demon emperor is one you've heard quite a bit about. The controller of fate, the master of luck, the child of destiny, the seer of the demon and nymph races, the great prophet, the sage whose words become law, the celestial fox demon emperor. In the overall rankings of the demon and nymph races, it ranks third, just below the top-ranked nymph emperor. It holds the second position among the demon clan. But its fame surpasses the very discreet crystal demon emperor. In a sense, the celestial fox demon emperor could even be considered the most powerful among both demons and nymphs. The fate it controls is something other demon emperors and nymph emperors need. Thanks to that, nobody wants to offend it, and it has good relationships with everyone. Listening to Zhang Heoxuan's narrative, Dubai couldn't help but clench his fists, a gleam seemingly flashing in his eyes. Zhang Heoxuan said, the celestial fox demon emperor is thus known as the master of fate. Legend has it that it governs the fate of the entire demon continent. As long as it exists, the demon and nymph races will possess the greatest fortune and continue to dominate the entire realm. What if it dies? Gulai blurted out. Before Zhang Heoxuan could reply, Tang San interjected with a peculiar expression, if that happens. Perhaps it would be a chance for humanity for an uprising. As soon as he said this, the room fell silent. Dubai couldn't help asking, the celestial fox demon emperor has an heir, right? Zhang Heoxuan replied, there will be one. Perhaps because of the backlash caused by manipulating fate, the lifespan of the Celestial Fox clan's demon emperors is short. Each Celestial Fox demon emperor only lives for about 500 years before it falls and is replaced by a new generation. However, the lineage of the Celestial Fox demon emperors always continues. As soon as one dies, the next one appears. Tang San listened silently, saying nothing more, but he had a thoughtful expression on his face. The third-ranked demon emperor is commonly known as the Undying Demon Emperor. It is the oldest among demons and nymphs alike, over 3,000 years. Its species is the immortal phoenix. The Phoenix clan has always been mighty, and the royal lineage, the immortal phoenixes, have the bloodline ability of rebirth. Legend has it that once an immortal phoenix ascends to godhood, it has 9 lives. Not only that, but each time they are reborn, they become stronger. This Undying Demon Emperor is quite low profile. And it's unclear how its real combat strength compares to the Crystal Demon Emperors. Its title is Eternal Inferno, and its infernal flames are also known as the strongest flames. Eternal Inferno, the Undying Demon Emperor.